Start getting some folks on. Evening, everybody. Hey, Don. Hey, Adam. Making sure that my protection looks okay. It does. Good. All right. Trying to get everybody on. So Adam, I heard you had some like copious amounts of wings recently. Copious amounts of hot wings. Yeah, there's a ongoing hot wings or hot sauce thing with Raul and Michael Higginson, Adam. It's so funny. Like Michael swears he almost died. I don't know. Maybe he did. All right. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So it was one of those deals where X amount of. Nicely done. Were they like real hot? Like how hot on a scale of 1 to just kill me now, please? What like? Okay, let's see here. Trying to see if. Hey, Caleb, have you been able to request to come on? Evening, Matt. Hey, Mom. Oh, Nakai's on here. All right. Gentlemen? Anybody? What's up, guy? Trying to get the guys on, but it doesn't seem. Me too. We just gotta get the guys on. All right, Bruce. Let's see here. Is it? So I'd sent you an invite, but it's not giving me the option. It's not asking me to bring you all on camera on my end. You might have to actually send me. Oh, hold up. 1 second. It says it's adding you. Let's see if it does it. Hey, baby.
What's up?
What are you doing?
Oh man, ain't been too long getting out work.
Nice.
What's going on?
Just hanging around, getting this whole thing started, waiting for everyone to hop on here. Watching Helios take literally every single bone out of his toy basket, one by one. He'll take one out. He'll play with it for like 10 minutes. Then he'll go and get another one, play with that for like 10 minutes, and then go get another one. I'm like, baby. he's a hot mess, that one. Hey, Caleb, is it not letting you try to hop on, or like, because it didn't give me the option like it normally does to bring you on camera? Hello, Caleb.
I was wondering, that was you said that? I was wondering who was that. I thought somebody was in the background because I didn't see your lips moving.
Oh. Okay, I'm trying to see if. Oh, yeah, Adam. He's totally not spoiled or nothing. Oh, yeah. He's rotten.
Good gracious, that must be a big bone.
He's a hot mess, that one. I just can't. He's just. You're a weirdo. It's all right. Hopefully he'll wear himself out.
Yo.
Yo,
What's up?
what's going on?
Nothing but the rip.
I'm sure he's probably talking about me. Christopher James, hello, sir.
I wouldn't do that.
That he comes here for that. I think it's a supplement for him. It's something daily he has to do in order to go to bed at night. I think every Tuesday.
Yes.
Every Tuesday.
Hey, real quick side note though.
Yes.
Hey, Christopher James was part of a live this morning. I was able to actually jump on for a little while. And man, boy, the kid. Hey, I love it. Your voice needs to be heard. People were so drawn to him. They were like, "Who? Man, this guy's speaking." And they're calling him OG, and I was like, just call him the old dude. The old dude that knows about it's been around for a while. Like, man, Christopher James, bully the kid. Hey, nothing but respect, man. Hey, I love what he does. I got to come to him. I know he's coming to me. But no, I loved it. I love what you were speaking today and speaking nothing but really, really good facts. And it was good to hear.
Cool.
I said what I said.
Oh,
no, but man, they were calling him OG just because the information he had. And of course, I can't give him too much respect here because he will sit here and screen record this and play it every day. But no, nothing but love for that guy. I love what him and Rolando are doing. They're pushing ABKC shows so much. So much in the South. So again, just shout out to you. Appreciate you always viewing in and the insight you bring to us.
Oh yeah, no, we absolutely love some Bully the Kid. He is one of those things where if he doesn't pop in every Tuesday, it'd be weird. It wouldn't feel full. It really,
yes,
really wouldn't.
Like what is he doing right now?
Yeah, be like, excuse me, sir, you.
Yes. A few weeks ago, he was like, I think he was boarding a plane or waiting on a plane or just got off the plane or, all right, Chris, that's enough. I agree. We should have stopped actually 5 minutes ago. So yes, I agree.
He's buttering you up for something. I don't know what he's buttering you up for. I'm just saying. I don't know. Speaking of airport, Chris, so with you basically like emceeing the ABQC Nationals, are you doing the same thing you did last time where you're like, you got a plane to catch and like you're struggling to like keep everything moving so that you don't miss your plane this year, or are you staying the night this time?
All right. Hey, you see AJ in the comments?
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah.
I tagged him. Oh, there he is. Okay, let me see if it'll let me bring him up here because it didn't prompt me to last time. Oh, all right, let's see here. So, here, let me see if it.
Send a request to join, he said.
Let me see. Let me see.
She said,
Sound effects are free, by the way. I don't charge extra for the sound effects, just so we're clear. Hey, there
What's
he
going
is.
on, you guys? What's going
What's
on?
up?
How are you? What's going on?
Dude.
How y'all holding up? What's up, buddy? My son, he's here right now. What's up, Bobby? Say hello to Lots. All right. Say what's up, Bubba.
What's up, little man?
What's up, Bobby? Say what's up, baby boy.
Yeah,
What's going on, you guys? How's
man.
everything?
Everything's good, man. Over here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
just wanted to say thank you guys for bringing me in. It's really awesome when I'm able to get the chance to do these lives. I really mean that. Thank you.
Oh
Absolutely.
no, we've been excited about this one for a while. We've been watching your content.
Thank you.
We definitely love the influence and what you have to say. So this is definitely a pleasure for us as well. So typically, how we go ahead and start these things is we have you introduce yourself. So tell us who you are, your kennel name, other business names that you have, like for other endeavors, and then how you got into bullies in the first place.
Okay. All right, you guys. So as most of my platform, like people that follow my platform, I go by the name of Al. First name is Alex. Al is just short for Alex. The name of what I do is called the Heavy Hitter Bully Crew. I'm gonna drop it for you guys right now. That is gonna change. I've been keeping that on the hush for a long time. Just as far as when we start talking about marketability,
Yeah.
being able to brand out and being able to go out there and be taken in more of a professional light.
Yeah.
That change has been I've been looking to make that change for over a year. It's actually already done. I've just been waiting for the proper time to introduce it, but yeah, it's gonna change soon. It's just more so just trying to provide professional, how do I say, professional customer service, professional content. I want people when they buy into my program, I want them to feel like they're buying into a family, right? And that's why I do the things that I do. So like everything that I do is with a very specific purpose. I look to, I try to look at it from a aspect of how can I get, an older person to want to rock with my content and
Right.
maybe purchase a logo for me, but how can I get the teenager, to be able to stay on my videos and be able to buy into something long term where they feel like they're becoming a part of a
Right.
family. And the thing is, it's like it's been a journey where people are just growing with me in real time. So like, I did things the complete opposite way. Started off with a male. Going back to the question of how I got into bullies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I wanted to start off was the shepherds. So I'm into training. What I like to do is I like to train dogs. I like to bring out the best of them. I think there's something very special that a owner shares with their dogs when they're able to get them to do, a bunch
Yeah.
of tricks, but to be able to be in sync and in unison with the handler. I mean, that's something that's so powerful. That's something that I've loved for years. And, it started off like that. All right. So during the pandemic, my our family dog at the time, we had a Shih Tzu. I was downstairs. My mother came up, ran right out through the door, got hit by a truck,
Mm.
died, and my wife and I, we were looking for another dog at that point. And I was hell bent. I wanted to get a shepherd. My wife was like, I think maybe we should look somewhere else. And I was, sometimes you win and lose arguments and fights. And that was one of those that she wanted to get what she wanted. So I said, you know
Yes,
what, hun?
here.
I said, you know what, hun, if you want to get into the bullies, because she was looking at them, I just said, you know what, man, let me just look at the parents. Let me just ask questions, and then from there we just go from where we go with. You know what I mean? And that's how it started.
Yeah.
As far as me getting into the bullies, and then that's when I became much more knowledgeable on the breed. And the way that the journey has transitioned and everything, it's been a blessing, man. And y'all know how I get down. Y'all know if you watch my content, I
Yes.
always I always give thanks to the Most High for giving me the opportunity to be able to even provide to everyone the videos, to even be on this journey with my dogs, to be able to do just the things that I'm able to do, man. I'm just so grateful, and I really mean that.
Absolutely. I love
Oh,
that,
yeah.
man. So your
Appreciate it.
wife was the reason you get American Bullies.
Yeah.
Man.
So my
Like that
wife,
already.
she was hell bent on wanting to get a bully. So the way it was going was we were trying to rescue pits from the rescue. but every time we got on the waiting list, we were like number 12, 13, and the picks that we wanted, they were no longer there. So it just so happened to be, and listen, things just transition the way they do. Things happen. I'm not lying to you. My wife, she was on the Instagram algorithm in that search engine, that explore page. As all of that explore page takes you everywhere.
Yeah.
That's content all over the world. And on that feed was my dog Ghost. She saw him as a puppy, ran into Rooney Bulls on my boy Dan's account, and she basically locked in the dog right there. I didn't even get a chance to say, "Hey, let me see the dog." It was already bought. She said, "Yeah, I got a dog." I went, "What?
You said,
What
I
happened?"
got a dog. It wasn't even, hey, we
Bro.
got a dog.
Man, it was crazy. But, from there, I've just been so blessed and grateful that, I purchased the pup from Dan, who has been a savior for me, man. He's just been so good to me. We became really good friends, I would say. And, man, he's really helped mentored me. And I always give thanks to everyone who's brought me along on this journey, because we don't do these things together, You need a great mentor. That's what they tell you when you come into the bully game. You need a great mentor. And when you have those type of people, you're able to start having educated conversations, and they bring your own knowledge up to speed relatively quickly. Because now you know how they say, like, you're a product of the people you hang out with, right? And if you hang out with people that are like-minded like you, and you achieve, and let's say you want to achieve a certain level of greatness, and you're in that group, you're more inept to get to the end goal that you desire, And I've just been beyond grateful for the people that I've had to speak with that have really brought up my knowledge as far as the American Bully is concerned. And, from there, that's how it just went, and everything has just been, like I said, man, I'm just so grateful for everything.
That's a heck of a story.
I know.
Oh,
What
yes,
an
it is.
Seen that
introduction.
coming.
I know, man.
Oh, yes, it is. Trust me, I try not. I don't want to talk as much, because I'm trying to because there's 3 other people in here, and I want to make sure everyone talks so we have an engagement
It's all
conversation.
you.
But I think,
It's all on you.
I would say to anyone that does a live of me, I talk way too much, and I don't mind talking. So I guess it just goes hand in hand with the YouTube and the content and all the other things.
We brought you on because we want to hear from you. We want to hear the content that you have. We want to hear your message, man. And I love it. I love the introduction. Like, what a way to bring it in.
Yeah. Try to come in with a little bit of humor, but a little bit of energy. Let people know just how grateful and humble I am, and just a little humor to lighten up the mood. And let everybody know that it's more than just like content. I think people see me on the videos and stuff, and it's like I carry a certain demeanor. It's like my personality outside of it is much, much, much different. You know what I mean? I like to have fun with everything that I do.
I love it.
That's the way to do it. I'm telling you, like you've got to find joy in what you do. You've got to find humor in what you do. Otherwise, it's like you're gonna end up getting out a lot faster than you got in. And your positive outlook is it's in the best way possible infectious. Yeah. So we definitely you can feel that in all the videos that you. So yeah. So yeah, you're definitely fun. That's for sure.
Yeah, I try, man. I really do try. I try to bring something different to the community, something that's much more positive. As all of you know, the American Bully community seems to we have a lot of times where there's a lot of negativity. People feel some kind of way, maybe about certain dogs, about certain breeding programs, maybe some business deals went astray, things didn't carry out the right way, and we don't forgive, we don't move on. Instead, we continuously, get into further more of a rut. The way I look at it is I've always been consistent with what I've said in my videos. And I told Caleb this, we had a conversation last week about this. And I tell people all the time, what I do is for the American Bully breed. And I think people get that misconstrued. People think that it's about fame. And I've been 100 from day one. I'm going to do my part in trying to put out the best product I can for the American Bully. Because the way I look at it is, as far as the community is concerned, right, we see a lot of these kennels and very popular kennels. But the thing is when we start talking about pushing a breed forward, right, when we start talking about, maybe one day trying to get this breed in the AKC, for
Right.
example, right? You have to look at how the other breeds were developed. You start looking at how long it took to get those breeds on par with where it got to. You know, if you look at a pit bull from 90 years ago, it's not the type of pit bull that you have today,
Right.
which means that you went through evolution and you went through certain things, which means that when you started tying in those traits, you started tinkering with trying to perfect the breed. And my thing is how can we get to that point if everyone is breeding all over the place? So I started going like this. You know what is the best way? What's going on, Jerry? I see you in the comments. I started saying, what is the best way for me to try and push this breed forward? Like I said, going back to what I said before, how can I get an 18-year-old to watch my content, a teenager? How can I get an older person to come in and watch my content? And the biggest thing was, how can I make the American Bully globally known in an area where people that want to get into this breed, people that want to get into breeding, and people that want to just buy a dog, for example, let's just say a stud, they get an idea of what they're looking for and what the breed type is. Because a lot of people get it misconstrued. Everybody has different visions. And the biggest thing is, you know, we look at how many people are in the game, right, as far as breeders. You know, there's a lot of people in the bully community, but you have what I call, you have vets and you have a lot of rookies. And when you have rookies, like I would consider myself a rookie, you know, when you have this many people, you have two different ideologies. You have one that's on the level of, this is my vision of the American Bully. This is what I'm trying to achieve. These are the type of things that I want for my program as far as the traits, demeanor, temperament, drive, etc. People are perfecting their American Bully. And then you got people that want to change it up a little bit and give it what they desire. Well, my thing was how can we push the breed forward if we're breeding in completely different visions? How can I provide someone with an idea of what they're looking for? So the way the content started and everything that I'm doing, I told Caleb before, it started off as a vlog channel. It was supposed to be just vlogs of my dogs, myself, and my family. It was never supposed to be where it transitioned to.
Weird.
And then
that happens, isn't it?
I
started out in an interview.
Man, it just happened like just over the course of time. Like I found things that I didn't know on this journey. Like I didn't know that I would have the ability to video the way I did. I didn't know I would have the eye the way I did. I didn't know I would have the ability to learn how to edit the way I did. Because I used to get these things, like these visions in my head when I was younger, when I would listen to music, but I didn't know how to use it. And then when I got on this journey and I just started creating for my dogs and just putting them under that lens, and I just started teaching myself, I learned that, hey, you're actually pretty good at doing video. And then, hey, you kind of know how to edit. And then it turned into, damn, you're good. You're pretty damn good at dog training. And then it turned into, oh shit, I got all of this into one. And I'm like, how do I do all of this? And then it just transitioned. And then I found myself on camera. And as I kept doing the videos, I kept realizing, hey, you know what? I think maybe you can do this. And then I started thinking of it from the lens of, you know what? How can I use the talents that God has blessed me with to try and help others? And then that's when things went the way that they did. So that's why, like, if you look at my earlier videos, they were all vlogs that did nothing. And then it went from that to, all right, let's help push the breed forward. And then it went to where it's going right now, which is I would like to do more of this type of content. You know, I had started up a podcast that I want to do more of with people that open up links like this. As all of you know, I told Caleb I did Behind the Breeding. The idea for that is to put the face of the dog with the breeder. So people look at these dogs, right? Then we look at dogs, we look at iconic dogs. For example, I'll just throw the name out there, Dax, right? We look at him and we know him for Ed Shepherd, right? But people knew Ed, but there was never a conversation that occurred where everybody can hear from the educational aspect of, you know what, Ed, think about how awesome this would be. Hey, Ed, question for you. How awesome what was your mindset when you decided to pair up those dogs to produce Dax? Did you think you were going to get a Dax from that? Did you think you were going to get an Ichiban? And what was your mindset behind linking it up together? And did you really think that would be possible? And to hear their reactions and to hear what they would respond to you, that's how you get people to buy in, to really listen, because people, that's how we put the breeder behind the dog. You know, most people have awesome productions, but some people may not know the breeder. How do we get the breeder known along with this dog to elevate them.
Right.
And that's why what I started doing was, hey, you know what, man? Let's try and put the face behind these dogs. And if we could get the mindset of other people, the mindset of, everyone that's on this live right now, with productions that they've produced, it helps newer people that are getting in. Like, let's just say you're going on the YouTube page and bang, you get a video that's recommended because you were searching up American Bully. Now you have this video in front of you that is showing you the behind the scenes of, damn, this is what it took to create that dog. This is what they were looking for. This is the blood behind that dog. These are the traits that they were trying to lock in. What is the point?
Right.
Yes.
This is what
What
goes
is
into
the
it.
importance
That's the blueprint.
of line breeding, inbreeding? And then it goes deeper than that when you're talking with people. You know what? When I look at that dog right there, you know what, man? What did it take to get to that dog? We got to this point, but what did it take and how long did it take you to get to that point? Because that's something that for newer breeders, it will definitely show you and tell you, you got to have patience. You have to have patience.
Long game.
You have to play the long game. This is not the short game. You really have to play the long game. And then think about truly how many generations is it really going to take you to perfect the look that you are looking for? You get what I'm saying? Because for me personally, I've told people my vision of the American Bully has always been getting the great conformation along with the breed type traits.
Yes.
Getting the mass, but not compromising the mass where it compromises the functionality.
Thank you.
Now how can I get all of this, but also keep the smartness and the drive and have my dogs know when you get a dog, that dog's going to be able to get trained. That dog is going to be sharp. That dog is not going to lay right in the middle of the ring. When they're up, they're ready, they're going, they're active. So in order for me to have done that, that's why it's taken me so long to even produce my first breeding, because I had to start looking at studs. I had to start looking at their productions, and then I had to start looking at what did the females throw. I've told people this multiple times on my platform. The biggest piece of any breeding program is your female.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? I always say this. A female, I look to breed better females, because I know if I breed better females, my males, the males are going to be much more improved.
That's right.
But if we can improve on the females and get some really badass females, I already know the way that they're set up and how I'm trying to breed them. I know more times than not, I'm going to pull consistent litters. I told Caleb this last Saturday when we were on the phone. I said, listen, my goal is, how can I get a litter to have all of the traits that I desire? When I talk about, let's say a litter of 8, can I get 6 of them with the traits that I desire? Some might be off on confirmation, some might pull a little different way, but can we really get the desired look that I'm looking for my program? And then you start realizing that the way you breed is very important. You have to start looking at pedigrees, and then you have to start looking at outsources, and then looking at, damn, what dog can throw this with that? And then you start looking at their productions, and then you start seeing
coat on.
Yes, and it's breeding is much more intricate. People think that it's just as simple as pairing up 2 dogs, and you start realizing when you're trying to create something better, create something different, create something that pushes what you have forward. Because for me personally, my goal with Ghost and Chanel has always been, I want to create a better version of what I have. And then from pillar 1, I want to create a better version of that. And that's how we start chasing perfection. Obviously, you're never going to get perfection, but in the process of chasing it, you get
Progress,
greatness.
not
And
perfection.
that's the hope. Yes.
Progress, not
And and that's why I went the route that I did.
No, you're killing it. And that's the thing is, it's like breed type is obviously baseline. Breed type is baseline. But if you can get that breed type without jeopardizing that, but still get the function and still get the right temperament, I mean, at that point, producing that consistently, that is what puts the American Bully in the same classification as other more established breeds.
Yes.
You got to get to that point. And so it's
Yes.
just like, it's just like you said, it's going to take, getting out there, educating people. And you have done an exceptional job of putting yourself out there and giving people this. It's not even, you're not even just giving them information. The best part about it is you're getting them excited. You're riling them up. And you're giving them the possibilities, all of the opportunities. You're telling them, like, listen, don't feed into certain hypes. Like, do your own thing, but do the right thing. And there's so many people out there that can access what you provide, and that in and of itself is a blessing, because you're
Yes.
helping more people than you could even possibly imagine. I mean, the footprint
I,
alone is insane.
I appreciate it. You know, it's funny. I had somebody tell me before. It was just a piece of advice that I got maybe 2 years ago. They said, you know, don't chase after the fad. They said, stick to what you love and you'll never go wrong.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Because you're producing what you like, what you love. You're not producing something that's just what's in the market right now. You know, it's just that you want to get to a point where you're breeding just because you love it and you're perfecting your vision of your dog. And they said, whatever your vision is from the very beginning, you stick to it. And I think that was one of the best pieces of advice I ever got in the community, you know, because we start thinking about how many ups and downs the market has alone. And if you're here for the money, you know, when you're in that low, hey, time to downsize. Maybe this ain't for us. Whereas when you're in the market time and that thing is starting to go down, you're not worried about it, because what you're doing is you already know where you want to go. Hey, if you have to take a breeding off here or there, it is what it is. But you're building where you want to go. And I think that's very important, you know, with where you want to go. I saw somebody in the comments. I'm sorry, I don't want to pull up
There's
the
a lot
comments
going
because
on. Everyone's really engaging. This is a beautiful thing. Everything's been great.
Yeah. I saw someone made a comment about the embark testing and to be able to breed a certain way. I would say this, right? Embark testing is very important, but also understanding what you have at face value and understanding the dogs that you have. The way I look at it is with genetics, you could pull either way. But it's our jobs as breeders, right, is to look at the pedigree of our dogs, understand what those dogs are and the faults that they have, what were their weaknesses and what were their strengths. And then you look at their productions, and then you look at the productions that they've had, well, the ones that you could find, and say, hey, what did this dog throw with this girl? What did they throw with this? And what did you throw with this? And in order for you to start developing a way to breed a very specific way. When I mean by a very specific way, that is to tie in everything that you desire. So I'll give you an example. My female Chanel, right? She is off of Rooney Bull's Layla, bred to Grand Champion Samson. And this is the thing, right? You have to understand what the mindset was behind getting a pup from that breeding. Layla is off of Titanium Tank, bred to Lucy. Okay, Titanium Tank, as all of you know, is off of One Drop, bred to Panthera. That's old school Gotti line blood. The reason why I wanted to get a pup off of that is because I know what Layla was. Layla was one of the baddest XL females that I had seen at the time. And when the conversation came about with Dan, when we were talking about, hey, who are you going to take her to? There was a couple name stud changes, but I told him the whole time I want something off of Layla because I know Layla.
Yeah.
I know that
I know
I
what
want
she's
something off of that.
throw.
I know what she's gonna throw as far as my females are concerned, because she was a big girl. She's a very big girl. I want to say she's like 22.5 inches at the withers. So I knew she was a big girl. So when we start talking about standard to XL breedings, I knew when Dan threw out the thing of Samson to her, I said, you know what, it's very doable that we could get in the 20. And for people that are watching, if you don't know, it's more inept. A common trend is if you have a bigger female, they're more inept to throw their height on their productions. And that is something that you have to be cognizant of when pairing them up. So the reason why I say that is because when the conversation came up of her being bred to Samson, Samson is off of Santino. Santino's a Louis V son, which is, as all of you know, Louis V is one of the famous Dax sons. And Dax, we all know what's behind him. So the thing is that I looked at it from the aspect of what is Samson throwing? Because Samson is more of a refined version of a newer version of the old school blood. That's years of work put in to get into Samson. I knew that his girls had a lot of drive. I would say F shit up, but They were really active. They were really active. They were smart, and they had crazy drive, which is what I needed. But my thing was how can I get that without sacrificing the conformation and the breed type? And that's when I started saying, you know what? I needed something off of this. So I knew at face value, looking at what was behind Layla, because Layla, she's off of Titanium Tank bred to a Grand Champion Techno daughter. So I knew, given the fact that we had that in there, bringing it back to Dax, given that you have the old school roots. Now, even though it seems like it's an outsource because different bloods, it's not really as out as
It's
people
still close.
think. It's very similar blood.
Yeah.
It's very similar blood. So I knew that when they were bred together, you would pull the traits. And now my thing is what I was looking to do was my whole objective from the beginning was to create a more improved version of Ghost. Ghost is 22 inches at the withers. Chanel is, I want to say she's like 19 and a half, around there. And I knew with the pedigree that was behind both of them, I knew Chanel could throw big, but I knew I could throw a more improved version of Ghost. And the thing is like when I thought about pairing up a dog, a female with Ghost, my thing was, well, how can I create a better, more improved, fluid version of Ghost? And that was, I need to have the female to go with it. I need more spread. I need a thicker top score. I need more of a smash muzzle. These are things that I was looking for to pull out those breed type traits. And the thing is that I knew, for people that are watching, Samson, in my opinion, he is a phenomenal dog. A phenomenal dog. People that watch my content know I've spoken very highly of Samson, because when it comes to demonstrating the traits of the breed, demonstrating the conformation, man, oh my Lord, along with producing, this dog is simply incredible. And when I mean by producing, you know, he's a little bit longer, but he throws a super compact back. And then when you take kids and you line breed on it or you inbreed on it, the dogs get better. It defies logic for genetics, you know, because you think about the dogs that are behind it, you start seeing how when people have gotten tight on the DAC stuff with whatever vision they went, sometimes it went a little bit too far south. Whereas with Samson, it seems like it gets better from generation to generation. It doesn't make sense for me, given the dogs that are behind them.
Yeah.
But I knew that if I could get something like that, I already know what the females of the Samson throw with their productions. So I knew I could get something that I was desiring with Ghost on the productions off of him. I knew I could get that with Chanel. So like a lot goes into that. Like, because they did, I said, went on this long ass tandem to say that responding to that comment that you have to really do your homework. You know, a lot of people go into the breed, and that's the purpose of my content, is to, you watch my video and then you say, oh, I don't like those traits. Let's say, for example, you like more of the Razor's Edge stuff. You go, hey, you know what? Which program breeds more of that? Let me go with them. If you like Gotti traits and you like those bigger, bullier, like mash traits, whatever the case is, you look at it and you go, hey, I want something off of that. If you want like a bigger dog, for example, and you're doing your homework, you go, hey, that's Muggleston blood. Okay, well, who's producing Muggleston? Everyone gets a something that they're looking for, and that's the goal. Is to make sure that the customers at the end of the day, they're happy with what they get, but they kind of know where they want to go, so that when they get into breeding, they're like, oh, you know what? If I pair this up with this, oh shit, more times than not, this will click. And then and then which goes to the greater goal, which is if I can just do that one time, that litter that new breeder produces, that pushes the breed forward, because that is breeding with intent, breeding with a purpose, and that is what's very important. It's much more intricate than just looking for the color. The color is beautiful, but sometimes to get the traits, you got to be willing to sacrifice the color at first. You could always bring color in, but getting the traits, that is the most difficult part, because you know what I mean. Because
as long as they all
let's say
consistent, they can all be brindle. I don't give a shit. As long as they're all consistent. If I want something else, obviously you bring it in. But go for the consistency first.
Absolutely. And you know, the consistency is very important with the breedings. And that's why I always tell people, like, for example, the headpieces, I would never sacrifice on the headpiece, because the headpiece, when you start lacking just a little bit,
Breed type.
it's so difficult to try and get it back. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like those are things that for me, it was like, you know, kind of like there's a saying, you have to play chess, not checkers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why, like, I feel like with my breeding program, it's always been, how can I play chess with my own productions to set them up to be successful, but to set up my program to where we could get consistency. And that's where it's fallen for me, you know. And
Caleb's over there playing
yeah.
Battleship. That's fine.
I almost fell. Actually, I almost fell.
Keep it secret and so.
Literally.
No, well, and so the beauty of like everything that you're saying so far is just, obviously it's music to our ears, because it's very aligned with, you know, our mindset and kind of, you know, what we've been trying to educate people on is understanding that obviously, you know, one breed type is baseline. So make sure that whatever you're doing is not going to sacrifice your breed type.
Yes.
Because that is what distinguishes it from the other breeds. If someone can't tell what
Yes.
kind of dog you got, there's a problem.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And one of the first things that you see that can differentiate your dog, your bully, from a pit bull is the headpiece. Obviously, that's
Yes.
front and center. So,
Absolutely.
but don't sacrifice breed type, and then lock in your consistency as much as humanly possible. Find the exact, you know, prototype of what you're going for, and then try to consistently produce that. Then you can start worrying about the color palette and whatnot. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm with you when you're right, sir. I'm with you when you're right.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, like I said, it's just trying to breed with a vision, man. Just trying to stay consistent to that vision, understanding that there's ups, downs, there's ebbs and flows, and you just got to stay consistent. And well, just one day it'll all work itself out, man. That's how I've always operated, you know, just with my dogs, the training, the content. Like I said, I do everything by myself. It is very time consuming, you know, but I've always said this, that I've always been an advocate of, you know what, if I feel like this is God's will and purpose for me, then that's what I'm going to do. And hopefully I play my role, and, you know, hopefully I can help other people. You know, the way all of this transpired, right? All right, I'm going to give you when everything started getting like, all right, it's time to lock in. So, we had Ghost, right? And I've always just been a firm advocate of, you know what, man, I just wanted to train my dog, engage with my dog. Like, I'm a big dog type of person. Like, I don't like going out. I just want to hang out with my dogs and my family and just do the most I can for my kids.
Yeah.
You know, people think that that's, you know, kind of strange. Like, yo, you're a younger guy, you know, and you don't like to go out. You like to stay in on the weekends. And I'm like this, because you have no idea the way I operate. It's my family, my dogs. In an ideal world, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people say that living the American dream is doing something that, you know, whether it's riches, money, and all this other stuff. Listen, man, I just hope that God provides me the opportunity to one day just have a bigger home, a bigger property that allows me to have an ATV, ride it with my son, and let the dogs chase after me. That's what I want to do. You know, that's just all I want to do. And I want to have a pack, whether it's 20, 30 dogs just following me, just in unison with me. And that's what I love. That's just what I like to do. And people sometimes think that's crazy, and it's really not to me. That's what means the world to me, right?
Yeah.
So there came a point in time after we had Ghost, and I was, you know, rocking with him and everything. I was talking with my man Dan, and we were talking about content, right? And then we started talking about getting a camera. And then I started with the camera. And, you know, I started taking pictures, and I'm trying to get a hold of everything, just trying to learn all this simultaneously. And then I got the idea out of nowhere. I'm not lying to you. It's, hey, what if you created content? What if you showcase your dog's journey towards becoming an ABKC champion? What if you showed this to people? And then I just said, you know what? I could do it. Let's try it out. And there came a point in time, I went to Dan Rooney's home, and we were outside, and I have a picture from that day on my Facebook, on one of my profile pictures. Yeah. And it's me in the field with the dogs. And I'm not kidding you, I was recording that day. It was just a vlog. Right. And I told my wife, I gave her the camera. I said, hey, hun, just get some pictures, record me with the dogs, whatever the case is. And it's me. I got the ball, and it's like 6 dogs around me, and they're just following me. They're in unison with me. And I'm not gonna lie to you, that was the day where it's just like, you know how everybody just has like, it's like a moment where you kind of know, like, this is what you got to be doing.
Yeah.
I got that right in the middle of the field. That was the first time I had that type of feeling since the day I had met my wife. And that was
The
when I
aha
knew,
moment, like,
hey,
oh,
that was when I kind of knew, hey, I think this is what you need to be doing. Sometimes it hits people at different times.
yeah.
So when I had that feeling was when I said, nah, you got to start picking it up, because this is where you belong. And then that's how everything started transitioning, because the way I operate is, if I decide to do something, I'm very passionate, especially if I'm very passionate about it, I'm going to do whatever I can
Get that.
to do the best job I can in it, which means that if I'm getting into dogs, I need to evaluate if I want to train dogs, I need to look at some of the best dog trainers. How were you able to bring that out in your dog? Because they always tell you, you can't mimic someone else's style, but what you can do is take what you like off that person and mold it to what fits you. And that's when I started taking that approach for everything that I started going into. And then from there was when I started saying, you know what? Let me start looking at a female. And you know, I had went to Ghost's first show, because this all happened like in the span of like 2-3 months. I'm not even lying to you.
Yeah.
I
What
went to
year was
Ghost's
that?
first show.
Roughly?
This was 2021.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
2021. We got him in 2020. So 2021. We go to the ABKC show located in, I believe it was in Woodstown, right? And we had a great job. Ghost did a great job. He got mostly everything that he needed that day. He got his majors, his points. It took him 2 shows to champ out, right?
Heck yeah.
But that first show, I had one of the judges come up to me and they said, "Hey, listen, man, do you know what you have for your dog right here?" And I said, "No, I really don't know, because you got to remember, I'm new, I'm learning.
Yes.
Right.
I kind of know who he's off
Yeah.
You're
of.
like, I don't
You
know.
know,
What do I?
I know who he's off of. You know,
Right.
but I don't really know like
At this point, you don't know what
what
you're
I'm looking
actually
at. As
packing.
yes, so I'm in the show ring showing for the first time, and I'm like, there's a lot going on. As all of you know, if you've been in the show ring and you've shown your dogs in the show ring, first you're trying to make sure your dog does not crap the bed when they're in the ring, and you're trying to have them sharp, have them focus, and then when you're moving, you don't want to compromise their movement. And there's a whole lot going on. Especially I was first time in the ring,
Yep.
so there's a lot going on, but Ghost kept winning. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm giving the ribbons to my wife. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but hey, it's working, whatever. So,
Yes,
it really went
here.
down like that. Yeah, I'm like, hon, here. I'm not
Your
lying.
dog's doing great.
It really went down like that. And then one of the judges came up to me and was like, hey, listen, do you know what you have with your dog? And I said, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. I know he's nice, but I don't know. He told me straight up, for your dog to be at this height, demonstrating these traits, this is a very, very well put together XL.
Dominant
And when he told me that, I said, okay, because now mind you have to think about what I was thinking about before. I knew I wanted to get into this field. So if I have a judge telling me this, and I knew I wanted to get in, now the way I start thinking is, well, how can I improve on this? That's when I have to start getting in the lab.
Yeah.
And that was when things just started changing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started really studying dogs. I started looking at dogs that I've really, really grew a liking to. And, you know, I spoke about him before, man, and I see Marcus and Mary. I see them in the chat.
Yeah.
But, man, that dog, Samson, that was for me. That was the one that was like,
Top 5 legend dog.
yeah, I like this. And then the way I started thinking about it, I'm like this, man, you know what? If I could produce an XL version of this, I'm good. And
That's the breed standard. It literally says
yes,
the standard for
yes.
collar.
and that's when I started saying, well, you know what? This is when it started going deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is behind them, and how did they breed to create those dogs?
Got it.
So So then I started looking at programs, whether, there's obviously they have their own controversy, but I look at it from a business perspective, you being able to breed dogs, but you being able to promote your business and being able to grow a following, but also able to have people buy in and run a successful kennel. And everybody's definition of success is different, but I started looking at what made these popular breeders what they were. How were they able to attract the clientele, and how did they breed to create their iconic dogs? So then I started following them. I started looking at how Khan was doing his thing. I started looking at how Bashar was doing his thing. I started looking at how Kat was doing his thing from Bossy Kennels. And then I started looking at how for example, Sin City Bullies, how they were breeding. What did they start with? Obviously, his program took off with Destiny. He bred to get wherever he wanted. And then I started looking at how did they get these dogs? How did they use these dogs as pieces to get them to their end goal? And then when I started looking at the pedigree was when I started saying, hey, I got to be actually very specific now on what I bring with him, with Ghost. And that was like how things just started transitioning and started going the routes that they went. And that was definitely a great time, I would say, just being there. I got the dog, was showing them, trying to champ them out. And now I'm studying these pedigrees, and now I'm really trying to make this a lifestyle. And that's the one thing I would tell anybody that is watching this video, if you think that this is a quick bag, you are mistaken. This is a long run.
So is.
This will take a lot out of your pockets.
For you.
Yeah. This will take a lot out of your pockets. If you do not have something that could pay your bills and give you something to fund this might not be the field for you, because this is going to take some time to get it up and running off the ground to get to where you want to be. Like I'll tell people straight up, man. I tell people, I'll be honest with you. I did a video giving my 5 tips for new American bully breeders, right? And I did this video and I put my all into it, man. I really did. And I got a lot of flack for my opinions and the things that I was giving out by veteran breeders that maybe felt some kind of way, because they're like this. You're a new guy. Who the hell are you to be telling people what to do and what to do this? And I'm just trying to follow what I felt my purpose was. I'm just trying to help people. Whether you feel a certain way about it, that's on you. I'm just trying to do what I feel my purpose is. It's completely different. We're operating on 2 different things. And I said in that video, and one of my tips was, make sure that you are financially stable. You have to have a job and you have to save up money to run your kennel, because you got to think about the expenses and costs that it takes to run your business. I'll be honest with you. Even with Ghost and Chanel, between everything, there's X amount that I've paid that I already know if I had one breeding, I might not break even. If I got a bigger litter of pups. And if I have 2, I may break even. And the hope is you got to factor in risk, right? Think about females, knock on wood, pyometra. You think about a lot of things that could go wrong. I had such a crazy journey starting off, like between my dog Ghost. Like we went through a lot of shit. And then I'm looking at my female Chanel, and I'm just on this route, and I'm looking at people, and some people are just having such a easy time with it. And I'm like this. I'm experiencing like probably not the worst, but I'm going through it early. And I'm like, yo, like this is crazy. But then I started thinking about it like this. You know what, man? Anything that is worth having, you're going to go through a lot to get it. Because, the way I say it, and I'll say this like I tell everybody, God has to prep you for the blessing. So you have to go through certain things. You have to go through certain obstacles, because that's what helps build your character and build your person to be able to appreciate the blessing when you get blessed with it. Or in time, sometimes you have to stay faithful for X amount of time to be able to get it. But when you do, you have to be ready for it. And that's when I started realizing, you know what, man, it's just a part of the journey. Where the ups and downs, it just is what it is. You just got to stay consistent with it. And people that want to get in, understand that this is not a quick bag. And I'm going to debunk the myth. If anybody in here is watching, just because you dropped a heavy bag on a male and a female that came off of big time camps does not mean that you're going to be able to sell your pups for that type of money.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying? And
Or
I
that
think
they're
a
going
lot
to
of people
produce what you want.
Yes. And a lot of people get it confused.
Yep.
I look at it like this. If a breeder is selling their pups for X amount of money, you got to think about the time, the work, everything that went into it. And what you're paying for, you're not paying for that breeding that just happened. You're paying for that breeder's years
Yeah.
of hard work.
Their investment. Yep.
And the way I look at it is, they talk about with barbers, right? Guys that cut hair, women, whatever. They say that, well, you pay X amount of money for 30 minutes. It's like 30 minutes. Why am I paying this much money for a haircut? And they go like this: no, you're not paying for the haircut. You're paying for the 25 years of experience it took me to perfect this haircut in this 30 minutes. There's differences. And that's the kind of thing that people need to hear for breeding, because just because you drop that bag does not mean you're gonna get those numbers. It doesn't work like that. People buy into programs. People, like, I'm sure you all experience this. When you start growing a following, people buy into your program, and then people want to buy into you and your investment.
That's right.
See what you've been doing,
It's completely,
and they're like,
it's
"Ooh,
completely
I want
different.
in on that. Like
Yes.
this, I love all of this. Sign me."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's when, I always say, like, what I do is to try and help people. I try to be honest. I don't like to lie about things. I like to just be completely honest and blunt. Sometimes I'm a little too straightforward, but I'd rather just, I just rather just someone to be honest with me. My father raised me in a way where it was, man, listen, I'm going to tell you the truth because you're my son and I love you. And I'm going to tell you when something's good, and I'm going to tell you when something's out of pocket and when it's bad.
Yeah.
And that's just how I was raised. And I felt like that type of respect for my dad, and him showing me that, I felt like that was the best way to handle things, because there's no clear cut and dry. There's hey, listen, if you want to achieve certain things, you got to work your ass off to get to where you want to be. This isn't given. Nothing is given. Some people obviously have a little bit more connection, are able to get to certain avenues quicker than other people.
Sometimes plays a part.
But yes, but most people, you really got to get in the trenches and go on the grind. It's the way I look at it, it's no different than a professional athlete that wants to play a professional sport, and they're chasing the dream, they're chasing the bag, and they're really working their ass off. Like, their life is this. Like, people don't understand this. My life is my dogs and my family. So, like, I'm up early. It's damn near every day. I'm taking my dogs out. I'm engaging with them. I'm training them. I'm taking them on sometimes 2-mile, 3-mile walks. But for the most part, we sit at a mile and a half, making sure they get the exercise in. Then I gotta clean the crates when I get in. And then in the morning, because I'm up so early, because I have a kid, I have to edit my content in the morning. So I'm doing all of this, and then I gotta go to work. And then when I come home, I gotta be a dad. And then I gotta be a husband. So I gotta do everything, and it's so difficult because, obviously, if I didn't have my time devoted towards where I'm at and I was just pushing my business, I knew that I would grow so much faster. But the thing is, if this journey was going to be easy, it would have been easy. It's never going to be easy. It's going to be difficult. So I look at it from a aspect of, you know what, man, even if I'm not able to drop the content as efficiently as I wish I could, I'm not going to sacrifice my quality. And I'm not going to sacrifice what the mission statement has been, which is promote this breed and put it in a positive light, and that's just what I stood to. Yeah, I'm my bad. I don't have the live chat up and running. I just see comments as they pop up.
I mean, just like you said, it's like literally not everything is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Sometimes it's difficult lemon difficult. Like, it's just, and you've got to be willing to accept that, prepare for that, and just kind of embrace it. It's just, it's hard. There's got to be, some days are better than others, and some people walk into this just being like, it's dogs, what's the worst that could happen? And you're like,
Hey,
how much time you got? I have a list.
hey, real quick. Hey, drop your YouTube. Drop your YouTube in the comments. I think this is
yeah.
Drop.
I got you.
Because
I'm gonna comment right now.
So many different things in such a short period of time. The mentorship, really what your vision's based off of. And you keep saying pushing the breed. It's not pushing your breeding program. It's not pushing your kennel. It's pushing the breed.
Yes.
And that's what I love, because you're preaching, man. And when I say preach, that's a compliment. You know, a lot of people say preach like a pedestal. No, you're speaking some facts right here, and I love it. And I'm speaking for everyone in the comments, because that's what a lot of the comments have been. But man, I love what you're saying. I'm going to be quiet because I can continue to go on, continue talking, man, for real.
Hey, D, I got a question for you,
What's
man.
going
Did
on,
you
brother, man?
feel some type of way when I guess OG told you that, why is you telling people this and you hadn't been in the game, just a little while? Did you feel some type of way about that?
So I would say this, right? Because that's a great question. At first, it depends on how you perceive the comment and where is it coming from. Some people mean it in a way where it's coming off as they're trying to help you, and then some people come off in a way where it's disrespectful.
Right.
And I don't do disrespect, but I also understand that in this journey, I'd be honest with you, I understand that you're going to have backlash.
Yep.
So for me, it's about, like, I go back to character development and character building. I always look at it like, hey, listen, you may not agree with it, but there's one thing you're not going to tell me is that I'm not telling the truth. And, a lot of the people that have said what they said, right, is, I kind of got I wouldn't say I got a lot of flack for my opinion on the breed, right?
Right.
Because the way it transitioned, right, and this is how the comments came about. Obviously, we have the common issue in the community. Everybody knows this because people still argue about it to today. That people want to know, is this breed, did we line breed on the Amstaff to get to where we are now? Or was the Bulldog brought in at some point to create more bully traits to get more of this mass on these dogs?
Yeah.
And all I said was things that were true.
Yeah.
And they felt some kind of way about it. And I just said, you can't line breed on an Amstaff and pull Bulldog traits. This does not. It doesn't look like
No,
that.
never will.
I don't think that's what you think him is.
Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that came after the fact. There's only so much of breeding of pit bulls and Amstaffs you can get to get the H frame, and then after that point, where did all the other stuff? It didn't come from Amstaffs.
Where did the 2-finger muzzle come in? Where did the thick top skull come in? There's dogs that have underbites. Where did that come in?
Merle.
All I'm saying is that all I would tell people is, because the way I used to break it down, my content, right? They used to call me, I was called the American bully community of Stephen A. Smith. That's what they called. That's what they called me. Hey, listen, I wish I got paid like Stephen A. Smith. I think we all do.
I think we all do. I would just lose my voice way too often. Like that's just way too high.
So like when I started looking at it from that lens, right, I just said, you know what, man, it is what it is. I get what you're saying. But my thing was if I'm trying to help people, I need you to understand, how did the American bully get to the look that we have now? Yeah. Because it gets deeper, right? Yeah. Because when we start looking at Dax and we look at the dogs that are behind Dax, right? I believe it was Barbie bred to what was that, Cracker Jack? Was it Cracker Jack or Nitro? No, I think it was Cracker Jack. Yeah. Who his pops was. Cracker Jack. So you look at the dogs and how they bred to create that dog and how they bred to create Barbie, and then they produced Dax. Well, who was the dogs that were in there that they bred heavily on? Where did they go 3 times, 2 times? Because now I'm going to put people on that call me a newbie on with some game. When you bring in another breed and you bring in the Bulldog and you bring them in with a dog that's massive, you bring them in to get more of these bullier traits, right? If you do that up front and you breed it with any dog, you're not pulling those traits because the gene pool is all messy. So how do you get it? You have to line breed. Yeah. Sometimes you may have to inbreed to pull it out because eventually your productions are eventually in the 3rd, maybe 4th gen are going to be able to grow the traits that you're desiring consistently with anything. So when we start talking about F1s, F2s, I look at it, well, at some point the Bulldog was brought in and they bred a very strategic way. Now, if you look at Mumu, you look at Black Ace, those were dogs that were heavily bred on to get the look that they were looking for. Mumu is like if you look at some of these dogs and they pet, you look in the back, Mumu was used. She was very heavily influenced in those pedigrees. And when I started looking at that, I started saying, I'm just going to point out a way where I'm not going to try and ruffle feathers. That's the best way I could look at it. I'm just going to show by example, hey, listen, this is what a Bulldog looks like. This is what an Amstaff looks like. This is what an American Bully looks like. Which traits does it have? And you choose. And because of that, and because of what I was saying, people were like this, you said, blah, 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 and they're coming at me. And I just say, you know what, man? At the end of the day, the people who voiced their opinion, it was coming from people that bred a different type of American Bully.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the vision breeders.
This is how my problems came across. Like I had one that was and pretty famous, that voiced his opinion, and we were talking, and it came off as a little out of pocket at first, but the more I started speaking with him, he started seeing what I was doing. Then it came to a point where it was like, okay, I got you, and then it became a mutual respect thing. See, the thing is, I look at it as in a way, right? We often let our issues with other breeders or personal issues with people get in the way of producing badass dogs. And the way I look at it is that there are probably some breedings that never happen out of pride or dislike for someone or not wanting to use that dog directly. And maybe we have missed out on some breedings that could have produced some amazing dogs for the community that could help push this breed forward.
It's happened yes, it's definitely happened. I'll be blunt and say it's definitely happened, but go ahead.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like when it comes from that aspect, we're doing the American Bully a disservice.
There we go.
And that's because we're not being able to push the best dogs together to push the productions forward. Yeah. At some point you have to pair the best dogs up with the best dogs, because if we had a community of people that were working together for the American Bully, I get it. Listen, there's competition that needs to be made. We don't breed for free. However, if there was a group of people that were breeding for the common end goal, we would get there. And that's what I was trying to go through with my content. And I just said, you know what, as I was doing it, you know what, I could talk it, right? But at some point, I got to show it. And how do I show that? I got to show it through my actions. I got to show it by how I do it with my dogs, what my mindset was behind pairing up these dogs and what I was looking to do. And like I said, people felt like I was doing what I was doing. Like, how can you say that? You got no productions. You have no breedings. You have none of this. And I always tell people, I felt at that time it was time for me to put the content out there. And what the goal is and the hope is that people that see my journey, you're catching it from the beginning. So you're growing with me. This isn't something that is happening where it's like you're growing with me. You're gonna see the ups and downs because I don't shy away from showing the ups and downs. I'm very honest, because that's the best way you could be. I'm very blunt. I'm very straightforward. When it's good, things are good, and when it's bad, shit is bad. And when it's bad, it could get hectic. It could get really hectic. And I just try to look at it from a level of gratitude and humility that, listen, it just is what it is. You're going to grow with me, but you're going to see everything. Like a lot of people are like, well, you haven't had breeding. You haven't had productions. And I look at it like this. People that say that about me have no idea what I see in my head. The way I see it in my head, I got a 5-acre property or a 6-acre property. I have an outdoor kennel. I have an indoor kennel in my basement for my females. I have a whelping room. I have 2 ATVs. I have dogs running in a field. The way I look at it is, man, I'm looking at something special. And when people look at me, it's like, yo, you just that dude with 2 dogs. Like, you took forever to get one breeding. I'm like this. You, from the outside, it looks like that. From me in here, I'm already thinking 5 generations in.
Precisely.
I'm already thinking about what the lifestyle I want to provide
I'm
for my
playing the
dogs.
long game.
You know what I mean? So I definitely do feel like, I think it's very genuine, though, that when people start seeing your growth and your evolution in real time, that they start saying, yo, you know, we've been able to see this kid from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This dude from the beginning. And then it becomes more wholesome when people start really buying into what I'm doing. And, you know, I've always said this, right? And this goes to a business mindset for those of you that are watching. You know, often we think about what our preferences are, what we like. Everyone can have their opinion, right? On anything. All right. Anybody can have their opinion. But how do I say this? Hold on. You have the option to dictate what it is that you want to do. It's all you. And for me, the way I look at it is, if I'm able to stay committed to this vision, I'm able to stay committed to these ups and downs. Because listen, there's a reason why I got those thoughts and that vision in my head. There's a reason why it all came out like that. There's a reason why I'm on this path. There's a reason why on this path I ended up finding that I had talents that I didn't know I had. I didn't know I would have the ability to video, to be a videographer. I didn't know I would have the ability to edit. I didn't even think I had the ability to talk on camera, to do this right now. Like, I knew in person, I'm a social butterfly. Like, I knew that I had a charismatic personality. I was told that multiple times, but I didn't think I would be in front of a camera talking.
You're like,
And the way I looked
that's
at it,
cool.
yes.
You didn't know it actually come into play at some point.
Yes. And then I started looking at it from a business mindset, right? You know, we often let our personal things get in the way of doing what could be potentially great business. And I just started saying, you know what, man, if I want to win globally, I got to win locally first. And then I started saying, you know what? Let me start showing and showcasing a lot of these dogs, because this plays into the bigger picture, showcasing the dogs in a professional light. Because I always preach professionalism. That's the biggest thing for me. I always preach professionalism, customer service, dog training, everything. That's how it has to be. You know, obviously the American Bully community gets a rep for, you know, maybe not being the most professional, but I try to steer in another light and be 100% professional, because if I want to be taken serious, I have to treat my business seriously, you know, and I've always looked at it from that lens. And, you know, for people, I looked at it like the mission statement has always been to push the breed forward. And how can I do this? You can't have drama. You have to spread positivity, and you have to show love to some badass dogs. Whether people may or may not like you. Like, I'll tell you this, in the beginning of my journey, before people started, you know, accepting the invites to collaborations and, you know, having my videos on their feeds, there was a time where I would video dogs and no one would share my stuff. No one would show love to me, and it was very discouraging at the beginning, because when I started transitioning, I wasn't. I'm not saying that I had to expect something in return, but it's like, if I'm doing free video, I'm editing and I'm putting your dog on a video, and I tag all your information, and I can't even get a share on my video, I can't even get a share on my profile. You know, I wouldn't say it was disrespectful, because it wasn't, but it was discouraging. That's the best way I can say it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I got to do my own thing. But see, then I started thinking about it like this. Well, you know what, bro? Eventually it's going to come around, and you stay consistent, and eventually people are going to love what you do.
Yeah, they're going to grab
and then and I got real discouraged. I want to say back in 2022, I had got very discouraged, and I said, I'm not showing love to people no more, because I'm doing all of this. I'm not even getting the respect and love back. Like, I remember I went to a show, and I felt like the vibe was off, and I'm big into what I feel. And like, if my discernment tells me something's off, I know something's off.
Right.
And I felt like when I went to the show, I felt like, yeah, it's that guy again. That's that guy again. And then I started realizing, I'm like this, you know what, man? I just got to take some time off, hang out with my dogs, stay with my family,
Pre-calculating.
it's gonna work. It's gonna yes, and it's gonna work itself out because now I got to go back in the lab and think about how I'm gonna reevaluate the plan going forward. And then I started coming up with these ideas, and then I said, "All right, we can do this." And then what ended up happening was I started getting better at creating and editing. And then once I started getting better at editing, then I started really getting really good with the camera, how to film, how to get certain shots. And then from there, because the whole time what I was looking to do, I was trying to figure out how the heck can I edit the videos that I see and hear.
Yeah.
So that is the biggest battle for those of you that don't know. A lot of the videos that I do as far as the cinematic edits, the cool edits and all that other stuff, I'm not even halfway into what I really truly would love to create. But the thing is, in order for me to do that, I need a lot more time and I need to be able to film. The problem is try having a kid and a full-time job and doing all of that. And then, hey, let's go to the field. Let's go to the field. Let's get the drone in the air. Hey, and as all of you know, if you take pictures and videos of your dogs don't stay still worth for nothing. So now I got to get the shot. Now I'm outside 45 minutes trying to get one shot. It's like that. So like it's much more difficult to create it the way I wanted to. But I knew that if I could create cinematic content for dogs, I knew that it would be something different. Because the thing is there's a lot of people that go about the content. There's a lot of people that go about doing the things that I'm doing. But how do I stand out amongst them? Because I am new. I don't have a well-known dog. I don't have none of that. I'm just a guy. And that's the reality. I'm just the guy. But how is it in this light? How can I take this up another level? How can I take this to get to where I envision myself being? And that's how it started going. And then, I'm not going to lie to you. It started last year. I said, let me talk about some of my favorite dogs. And it started with some of my standard bullies.
Manifest.
And it started with that. And I remember I had, who the heck did I have on my list? I think I had Bada Bing by Wet and Gold Kennels. Definitely had Hangman on there. I definitely had Samson. Well, who the heck did I have it for? I had Zeus on there. Zeus was number 3. Four was
very partial.
damn. I forget who I had it for. Sheesh, it's been a minute. Anywho, the reason why I did those videos was because I just wanted to show love to dogs, and I was at a time where I couldn't film my dogs. My son is 1. As all of you know, if you have a kid, you have a baby, it is very difficult. My wife works yes, and my wife, she works from home. So imagine having a crying baby, and I have dogs. I can't really create. I can't have my camera out. I used to have my wife video for me, so I don't have a videographer, and I don't have money to pay for a videographer and an editor, so it has to be me. Now, granted, if they would have had the Insta360, at that time, I would have been able to keep creating the type of content that I was, because I could just put the camera onto my backpack, have the stick, have it record me walking my dogs. At the time, we didn't have that. So I had to start really trying to transition. And that's when I say, you know what? I love creating. I love editing. How can I stick to the mission statement? And knowing that I can't create for my dogs right now, how can I show love to other dogs in a positive way? And those videos started doing well. And then I started saying, okay, I definitely can use this going forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then eventually it started going with, hey, I like this. And then the videos that did really well for me was talking about the ABKC Nationals, talking about my predictions, talking about a recap of the video. And people really loved when I was talking about other people's dogs. And then that's when I just say, you know what, I think I might have found my niche. Yeah. And then I started saying, this is where it has to go. Because sometimes as a content creator, you got to give the community what they want. You can't really, how do I say this? You might have your own preferences and things you would like to create, but they do nothing. Whereas things that you're like, I don't know if I want to create that, those are the things that do the best for you. But if you're a businessman, you have to attack what the community wants. So I had to start transitioning to that. So when I talk about the evolution and the way things just changed, that's literally what happened. It was just like, oh, this is doing well. Oh my God, this is doing well. Okay, so this is what I got to do. And then that bled into everything else that has happened since. And I see someone in the comments that said that I had mentioned Malakara. I did, but I had mentioned him in my set in part 2. I had Malakara. I had Tyrone. I spoke about his parents. I had Bambino.
Oh.
Jose Valenzuela owned him. I had King Kilo on it, and oh my God, what was the other dog? Damn, I'm forgetting them off the top.
You've done too much, sir. You've done
Yeah,
too much.
you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is that these dogs, what people have no idea is like sometimes it's very difficult to remember all of the information because a lot of the things that I do with these dogs, I go off the top. I don't really have notes in front of me. I just go off the top, record. Hey, I know this dog. I know their parents a little bit, and sometimes I mess up in real time. It happens. It just is what it is. There's too
I
many
do
dogs
everything
out
you
there.
say. It's good. You're fine.
There's too many dogs out there for me to remember, and especially right off the top, it's very difficult. So sometimes, sometimes I just completely whiff, and I just, it just is what it is. At the end of the day, but it's been a blessing because, to be honest with you, this through the evolution, I've really networked with some really great breeders. And they have now shared my stuff, and it has led me to meeting Caleb. It has led me to meeting you guys. It has led me to really talking with people that have a high following. And I didn't know it was going to go that route. I mean, I knew if I stood consistent with it, eventually it would. But I didn't think at the time that, oh, yo, we might have something here. I didn't think it would go to where it's going. And even though we're not where I would want to be, we're trending to where we want to be, which is I'm grateful for. I look at people like I remember when my videos on YouTube couldn't get 20 views, and now I drop a video in one day and I get 500 or 600, and it's like, damn man, I remember when I was only getting 20. I remember when I was only getting 10, and now it's like people love this type of content. So it's definitely something that I want to create more of, and you know what? I'm gonna drop this for you guys right here. Because you're gonna get this on this platform. All right. Any dog that I've shown love to, whether it's the XLs, standards, pockets, classics, I've always told you that the way I move is I play chess, not checkers. Anytime I've spoken about one of your dogs, I absolutely want to open the door to speaking with the breeder or the owner of those dogs and just speaking with them and describing their dogs, what their experiences were like, how did they go about buying their dog,
Right.
what made you want to buy the dog, what made you even choose them as a puppy,
Right.
these types of things, because I want to start opening up, like I said before, the face to the dog. There's a lot of badass dogs out there that people just don't really know the person.
Right.
And all it is just a dog. At the end of the day, dogs come and go. You lose your status, and then that's it. How can we better this breed and better the person behind them? And the way I look at it is a completely different mindset than most. But most people, I'm looking to grow this breed and connect with some really great people. And if we connect with some really great people, that bodes well for all the American bullies going forward. Because, like I tell you before, breeding with a vision, breeding with intent. We only do that through collaborating with some good people, having some great mentors, and really speaking with some great knowledgeable people. There's a lot of great knowledgeable people. Some people that might be a little bit meaner than others, but there's some knowledgeable people out there. You know what I mean?
Bit abrupt, but they mean what they say. So at that point,
Yeah.
it's, we do have to really kind of prepare ourselves to receive information in whatever way it's delivered. And sometimes the delivery of it it's a bit abrupt. Like someone's going to look at your dog and be like, this is my opinion on your dog, and you've got to be willing to absorb that. And the beauty of it is for people who don't have, like, who are willing to accept information coming from, in that manner, they take it as it's supposed to be, which is, okay, I totally hear what you're saying. I agree. These are the flaws that I'm trying to correct. I'm thinking about correcting them this way, So it's just like one of those things where, as difficult that sometimes it is to like hear negative things about any one of your dogs, you've got to be willing to accept that information as is and just throw it in the recipe. And it's like, okay, well,
A-
I saw what you saw
Absolutely.
too.
Absolutely. I say this, right? No one is going to be more critical and harder on my dogs than I am.
Sure, same.
So if someone tells me, "Hey, your dog has this," I already know what they
Yeah.
got. I already know
Mhm.
what I need to work on. And it's not I'm not saying that in an arrogant way. It's because if I'm trying to chase after perfection, even though I know I can't get it, I need to really look at those
Yeah.
things. I need to. I need to know what the judge is going to look at my dog in real time. I need to know what he has right before I even get in the ring, because I need to know what the judges. I need to see the dog through the judge's lens, and that for me is a very humbling way to look at my dogs, right? But to also evaluate my dogs and to be able to push the productions forward. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
And that for me is how I've always went about looking with my dogs. And sometimes, you may or may not pull certain things in your breeding program.
Yeah.
You know, breeding is, I wouldn't say it's like playing
Pressure
dice,
on that.
because when you make, because you can make very smart decisions, but sometimes in that pedigree, you might get something from the seventh gen that popped up that you're like, holy smokes, I thought we got away from this, and how did we get
Like you have to
here?
look back
You know,
at the
and,
pedigree, like where did this come from?
like where did we get this from? And then it's like, but the thing is like more times than not, it's gonna work out how you envision. It's just got to breed a very certain way to get what you desire. That's always been my mindset and my opinion on it.
I
Yes.
like it. It works.
Absolutely.
Sir, it
Hey,
works.
do you know the name of the judge, the ABKC judge that talked to you about ghosts?
John Reneker.
All right. I just
I
want to
love
point
that
that
name.
out
I love that.
because she prays to that, because we need more judges like that. I
Yeah,
love that. I
yeah,
love feedback. I
bro,
love
bro.
to
Every time I've seen John,
yeah.
and I had my boy Ghost, he's always shown love to
There
him.
we go.
It's I think I showed in front of him maybe twice or three times, and every time I see him, it's always love. He's a very good guy.
Yeah.
Um,
I
I just, man, when I tell you that man, he like changed everything for me
Yeah.
just by that one conversation I had with him
That's what the
at that Woodstown show, man. It like, you'd be surprised where it comes from, man. And when he said that to me that day, that was when I started really realizing, oh shit, I gotta start breeding a certain way, because I want to be able to pull more of this, but improve. I've always been like that, the way I look at it is, I'll drop some backstory on myself for you guys, to those people that are watching, to get some insights to why I am the way I am.
yeah.
The thing is with me is that, so I used to play sports. I was a baseball player, and I wasn't, the way I would tell you guys this is, I wasn't the best player. I wasn't the most talented, but I was a grinder.
Yeah.
When people talk about that, we talk about certain players and we call them dogs, and you got to have a dog mentality. That was me.
Yeah.
I was the first person on the field. I was the last person to leave. No one was going to outwork me. That was how I operated. That's how I grew up. So when you have this type of a mindset, and you bring that into other avenues of your life, it's like, how can I always look to improve? How can I always look to get better? You can, and there is some good in there. You get a lot of good, but you get the bad with it. And the bad is, sometimes it feels like things aren't good enough. Sometimes you're not content.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
when I started realizing, like, when I started getting my faith and I started coming around towards the Bible, and I started really just following with Jesus, man. That's when I started realizing that, it really humbled me and slowed my processor down, because I always just be like, let's go next wave. Like, I'd be
well,
willing to
yeah.
work. I do whatever it takes as far as working and doing things legally to get to where I want it to be. But then I just started realizing, and then I just started, and I just started realizing that, you know what, man, it's you got to be okay with what you got. And I've definitely been, I always say that I stay hungry, but don't ever let the line go. And I try to do things in a very humble mindset. I'm forever grateful. I think anyone that's watching this live, and if you've seen me, if you've interacted with me, I always go out of my way to say thank you. Like, you really have no idea how much it means to me. I really mean that, because I'm not gonna lie to you. There are some days when I am editing, I am beat, and it's like, man, this is taking the most out of me. And then some days it's like, damn, man, I need a break. I can't do this. And then I drop the video, and then people say, man, this is awesome. Keep doing it. And that gives you the motivation to be able to do the next one. And just those comments and the people that shown appreciation for what I do, you guys have no idea how much that means to me. And I always said it, man. On this journey, I'm always gonna preach my faith, because I'm forever grateful to the man up top, because without him I don't have what I have right now. But I'm forever going to show humility and be humble to and grateful for every one of my followers, my supporters, because without them I can never grow this just by myself. It takes, what does it say? It takes a village to build something. And that's how I felt, and I always say that I'm going to forever be humble and grateful. And because, at the end of the day, we know, and this is the reality with dogs, things could change like this. Everything could change like this. And, man, there's sometimes you just stay grounded, never get too high, never get too low, and just understand that, you know what, man, just enjoy the ride, enjoy the process,
Absolutely. Hey, intervene real quick before Amanda says something, because I know she's got something cooking. But, man, you haven't scratched the surface yet. Success is not on your door. Success is here. You're talking about the 10, 20 viewers that you were getting on YouTube, man. That's going to continue to grow. Lord Jesus, man, you are doing the thing, the consistency that you're doing. Continue that. I know that you got a lot of viewers tonight just really watching, and the people that are going to watch this. And I just kind of want to give you that message, because you delivered a very, very, very good message to everyone tonight, just not only in dogs, but in life in general. So,
thank you.
Man, I appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
I'm in no rush to get off by any means. Let's continue this, but I wanted to speak that before we get off tonight, man. Hey,
Yeah.
success is there.
Yeah, I'm just, beyond grateful, man. A lot of people ask me, like, well, how did this go? I would say this, right? Like, I've always tell people that I felt like my content and my platform was going to grow to something maybe more than just dogs. It's going to be, the basis of it would be dogs, but I really do feel like my purpose here is to impact and help people. And my journey has been very, very difficult. Everything. It's like nothing has ever came easy. Everything has just always been difficult. So, I always have this type of mindset that, you know what, man, you go through adversity, you overcome it. I'll tell you guys this. When I was 19, well, I was 19, I was 20. Yeah, 20. My father had passed away, and I was a kid, and I was a kid having to learn how to become a man in real time. I had to stop playing baseball. I was playing in college. I had to stop. I had to work. I had to help my mother out. I had to try and be some kind of a role model for my sister, who was young at that time. And that was a very, very, very tough road for me, because I'm young and I'm learning in real time. But me and my pops, like that was my right hand man. And I tell everybody this. The reason why I work so hard, the reason why I do everything that I'm doing, is to make sure that man up top is watching me and he's proud of me. Because I always say this, like, that is what I do. And, I have been through a lot of stuff, man. And right now we're going through a lot of stuff. It's one thing, it goes to another. However, I just, I, if I don't lose my father at the age of 20, I'm not the person I am today. I'm not as grateful. I'm not as humble. I'm not as appreciative of the small things that I have.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really brought me back, because I'll tell people, like, I had dealt with a hardened heart. Like I lacked sympathy for a lot of things. Like, I was so upset that when my father died, because me and him were so tight, that when I got my dog Ghost, it opened it up again. And once that started happening, I just say, you know what, man, I got to roll with my dogs until whatever happens. And I just say, you know what, man. And that was when everything just started really changing for me. And Man, I'm just so grateful for the journey. Like I said, it's came with a lot of downs, a lot of heartaches. However, I'm forever grateful because in order for me to be in the position that I am today, to be able to talk to people, to be able to inspire other people, to be able to showcase the dogs and utilize all of these talents that God has blessed me with, I'm not like this right now if I don't lose my father. And a lot of people when we're going through some things may not see that in the time because it's like it hurts so bad, but then on the back end it's like this. You know what, man? I got you. The level of humility that I have. I know I said that and I'm repeating it, but it's the truth, man. Because when I tell you, I'm just so grateful to wake up in the morning. Like my idea of being happy is literally in my backyard, which isn't the biggest backyard. It's a nice sized backyard, not the biggest. If I see my dogs running around with my son
Yeah,
outside,
man.
that's all I care about. That's all I'm happy for. I could literally just sit there and smile, and that is what I love. I know it sounds cliche, but that's really what it is.
You're
People
talking to
like I said,
like-minded people. Doesn't sound
like
insane at all.
yeah, and I guess some people may not understand that about me. I think people have said that I wanted to become with my content famous or like clout chasing. That's what I was told early on, and it's nah, man. It's something bigger than what you may have envisioned it to be. It's something where, man, I really do believe that if I stay on this path, I'll be able to really help people and really impact people, and then furthermore, really help out the American Bully community. And I hope that I'm able to play my role, and hopefully years from now, this breed is badass. We have some badass dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and we're able to, really take it up a notch,
No.
and I'll stay firm with that.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
You're already on your way there. I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, your goal is to help people, and
Yes.
you're already doing that. And your goal is to try to push the breed forward. You're already
Yeah.
doing that. Like
Yeah.
you're doing what your goal is. And if your aim is to expand the horizon on that, to expand the footprint, then keep going.
Yes.
Absolutely. But definitely don't shortchange yourself, because like, you want to help people, you're doing it. You want to,
Yeah.
you want to push the breed forward, you're already doing it.
I
So, I mean,
appreciate it.
keep on, again, it's progress, not perfection. Go forth. I mean, again, you're already making a massive impact.
I appreciate it. So I had a question for you guys, and I had asked Caleb this last Saturday, and he had a very interesting answer. And I felt like for us, because now you guys are interviewing me, and I wanted to make this a little bit more interactive for everybody.
Keeping it spicy.
How in your breeding programs right now, how many generations are you away from creating your vision of the American Bully?
Bruce.
Well, I don't breed a lot, but I would say I'm about to start line breeding. So it'll be a couple more years for me. Two or three
Nice.
more years, something like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you?
I am a stud owner on purpose, by choice.
I ain't mad at that.
I don't know the whelping miracles y'all pull. Breeding is one of those things that, like, I just, it's one of those things I can't do again. So I own studs, but I do know that I am invariably meticulous about, where my dogs go. Because I obviously, I want that legacy to be consistent. I want that legacy to say something, so that it's not just, my dog's legacy, it's mine. So I don't want to be that person that literally is just like, oh, well, that dog has 1,000 productions, or I don't want to be that person.
Yes.
So I know what I want to correct. I will be keeping things off of litters, coming up here within the next, 2 years. and then continue on there. But yeah, no, I could have bred both of my studs hundreds of times by now. Still not gonna like. I can't justify it because I'm at that point, like literally the ball's in my court.
Yeah.
So and someone's program is on the line, like,
Yeah.
and that's in my hands. Like, so if someone comes to me and they want my stud, I'm going to sit there and have a very frank conversation about like what they're looking for. Where are you headed?
Yeah. Yes.
Because there is a possibility my stud isn't what you need. And
Yeah.
as much as any normal business person is like, oh my God, don't ever say that. Just make it happen. Make your And I'm like, no, that's because that's not what. So I've actually had conversations with people, and it's like, you don't need my stud. You need this
Yeah.
one because this
You
is
need
where you're
that
going
one.
to go. As much as I would love to really, you know, use the female that you have, what you're looking for, my stud can't provide
Yeah.
as is. I don't want you wasting
I
time.
Yeah.
I agree with the comments. He said not all money is good money. That's 100%
Yeah.
true.
And AJ,
That's 100%
I'm going
true.
to answer for the question that you asked me the other day, and
Yeah.
just for public good conversation as well. And I love you. I love your honesty, Bruce, as well. I love y'all's answer. It was very, very honest. I know y'all very
Yeah.
well, and that was exactly what I expected from both of y'all. Like that response. And when AJ asked me last Saturday, I told him, I was like, wow, like, first of all, good question, but realistically, where we are in our program right now, I would say 4 generations. Truly generations. I feel like we've already accomplished the first generation of the wave that we were really, really trying to get with the look that we were doing. And I think realistically, 5 generations from, you got to start with a good baseline, a good foundation. And then 5 generations, I believe you should be able to get that look that you're looking for. Now, of course, there's variables and you can always change the plan. Don't change the goal. I actually put that as the morning quote. Hey, check my morning quote in the morning. But
that's fire.
But yeah, I think realistically 4 generations away, and that's just really putting a number on it. And again, a lot of subject to change. But I think within the next 4 generations, we can really, really lock in a look that we are trying to present.
Yes. And I told you that they I really like the breedings that you have put together because every one of those was strategically done to get the traits that you desire.
Yes.
The Malacara breeding, fire. The way you're using Genesis, fire. And I spoke with you about Genesis. I know everybody saw the video that I posted. To those of you that followed us, that was done very strategically. I knew, and I spoke with Caleb before. I said, hey, listen, I'm gonna post the videos of Genesis on Monday and Tuesday leading up into this live, so people can hear this conversation. Like I said, everything I do is with intent. And I had told him, I said, listen, with the way Genesis was bred, he is really going to be able to throw his look on those productions just because of the way he's bred. You got Techno there 3 times and it's seemingly up front. So where you're going to pull. And I told him this before, and I said this in the description of the video, that, when you're looking at understanding that you got Techno in there 3 times, you got to think about the breeding that created Techno. It was a Dak's son bred to a Dak's daughter. And when you have those traits up front, and it's just done a different way, the breeding method is no different than what people did utilizing Dak's. The reason why pocket class, standard class, they have the traits that they desire is because they seemingly took Dak's, and once they got that dog, they started building, and obviously they branched off into other areas. You think about Magoo from Muscle Tone Bullies, badass dog. I believe the mother was Stella, so Stella bred to Dax and created Magoo. Magoo has his thing going. And then vice versa, you look at Khan's program with Rocco, understanding he used that blood to form his version of his dog. But at some point, people built with all of that work to create that one dog. And it's been bred a very certain way. So when I told him about Genesis, understanding that breeding was done. What's going on, Corey? When that breeding was done with to create Genesis, and the breeding was done, understanding that you bred heavily on this breeding, it's not a shock to see why Genesis I said this in the video, that he exhibits the traits that he does because it's the truth. You got to think about the dogs that are behind it, and I think that's very important for people that are breeding. Is just understanding the dogs. Why is it they look the way they do, and what's behind the pedigree? At first, when I got in, I would look at the pedigree and go, I don't know how to read this, and then over the course of time, I started saying, well, okay, this is what they did. These dogs were paired up together. So what's the productions of these dogs? How did they breed these dogs? What traits did they have? And then I started going, oh, shit. This is why they did what they did. This is why they did this. And then that's when you start really looking at the pedigree and going, oh, shit. I kind of see why they went the way they went with this. And this is why this dog is going to be able to throw these traits. And then, like I told Caleb, that Genesis is he's a badass dog. And just thinking about the litter he did with Top Gun, the other litters he has going forward, because I think, did you get the one with Duce yet, or that hasn't went down yet?
We've gotten one. We did another breeding with him too.
Yeah,
and
Duce is, listen, Sean knows that's my dude.
Yes.
I had the opportunity to see Duce twice in person. He is as advertised, badass dog. It's insane how much bone this dog has and how crazy he looks on a 20-inch frame. It's crazy.
Yeah,
but
don't make no sense.
When you think about the studs that you're utilizing and understanding that you have those pieces, these are pieces to the puzzle, but the studs that you're using are really badass, but your females are really complementing these males. So it allows you to really breed a certain way to tie it all in together. And that's when it's special, because once you start really bringing these pieces together, now you start getting closer to the goal. And then you get that dog that at that point you could either line breed or inbreed with. It really just depends on where you are in that moment, because inbreeding could go either way. However, if it's done the right way, if you're looking for very specific traits and you are close, I'll tell people I wouldn't recommend inbreeding if you have no idea what you're doing. I would tell you I would tell you, if you inbreed, it is because you're maybe this close.
Yes.
You're maybe this close, and you're really
Good
looking to tie it together, because now those productions, some might be crazy, but you might get one or two that are gonna get exactly what it's it.
Rest.
Yes, yes.
We're breeding for you. At home the rest.
Yes,
you lock
and
those traits. You're absolutely right.
Yes, and to lock it in, there's a purpose for line breeding. Like, I tell you this, I'm line breeding with Ghost of Chanel. I would be line breeding on the titanium tank to Lucy litter. And to give you guys a perspective, the thought process behind that breeding was Lucy. She's a grand champion techno daughter. I explained that earlier. When she was bred to titanium tank, I know what Tank throws. Obviously, he has some very iconic sons. My favorite one is Chronic. Hell of a dog. Love that dog. But Titanium Tank at face value, great headpiece, smash muzzle, bold fronts. The rear is not the best, but not the worst. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Lucy had great conformation. Good bone for female. Headpiece was lacking. A little snipey on the muzzle, but really good girl. And when they were paired together, she threw the confirmation.
Yeah.
And she threw the confirmation on all of the dogs. So it wasn't like it was just one or two. She threw the confirmation on all of them.
Yeah.
But some dogs got more of the bully traits. And with that was when I realized, hey, if I line breed on this breeding, there's a chance that I might not sacrifice the confirmation, being that I'm line breeding on Tank, because yes, it's 2 times Tank, but it's 2 times Lucy as well. And I saw what that did. And if I could bring in Samson with that Gotti juice up front and pair it up with that, there is a very realistic possibility that I could get 20.5 inches at the withers, the bone and spread that I desire, but keep the
Rare.
confirmation
And they're
and keep the
rare.
confirmation because of the trend that I had noticed with what Lucy had produced. And I saw what Layla had produced with that breeding with Samson. That breeding, I told Caleb, has have four pups. I got the only female off of it, Chanel. It's Bruce Wayne, Boomer, and Byro. And these dogs look amazing. So I knew what Layla threw, so I knew it's very doable. Now I'm not saying, hey, listen, I'm gonna be able to get it. You don't know. Unfortunately, the way breeding works, sometimes you may need to have like 6 to 8 pups.
Yeah.
You need to have an array to choose from, and the reason for that is because you have to evaluate all of them. How did they grow? What traits did they get? And you have to look at them because it helps you make a decision later on in your camp. Hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is what the pups showed at an early age, and this is how it transitioned when they got older. And that is one of those breedings that, hey, we don't know, like with Samson and Layla, we got 4. But I've always felt we didn't get the one. Like, if you were to put Bruce Wayne's headpiece, which was very doable, on Boomer, that dog would be one of the best XLs in the game today.
With John Wayne's color?
With Bruce Wayne's
Yes.
Bruce Wayne's headpiece. Because you know what it is, dude? I've seen Boomer in person. I've had the opportunity to see him. And this dog is like, it's shoulders, neck. It's shoulders, neck.
Right into it. Yeah.
It's insane. Samson is listen. He's the truth. I keep saying that, but from a producing aspect, good Lord. And when I saw the traits in real time, I'm like this. Damn, maybe we would have had a 5th pup or 6th pup. We might have gotten it all. It is very doable. Like, and, as a breeder, you think about that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, yo, it's doable. But then you've also seen the different side of it, right? When you run the repeat breeding and maybe you just struck lightning in the bottle with one. Yeah. This is very realistic. Yo, it really is like that with breeding. It really is. So I know, Caleb, we spoke before. You asked me 5 favorite dogs.
Top 5, yeah.
Top 5. So are we gonna go passed away?
Top 5 passed away, top 5 alive.
All right. So I had to write this down because I didn't want to miss any of these dogs. I feel like I like way too many.
Yeah.
And once I start talking, my mind starts going.
You're at 15 real quick. Yeah.
Yeah. So
no.
I will tell you this. One of my favorite dogs of all time, absolutely love, is Pokemon. Pokemon is a badass dog, man. It's funny. I was actually going to do a video talking about my personal favorite 5 old school American bullies.
Yeah.
Just showing the dogs that I like. Just the traits that I like.
So Pokemon will be,
like I said, Pokemon would for sure be on that list. I love Pokemon. Yeah. Him, definitely Ichiban. Loved Ichiban. He was the truth. Dax, brother, the littermate that I would say overshadowed, but kind of overshadowed because of the greatness of Dax. We never truly appreciated how amazing Ichiban was because Dax was, unfortunately, he was that was the dog from that breeding, and it's like that sometimes. I'll say this, like, just for example, if you guys watch UFC, this is where I'm going with Ichiban. Globally, we know that John Jones was probably one of the best fighters, right?
Yeah.
And probably the history of the UFC. Maybe the best, arguably the best. In my opinion, he is, because he's so damn talented. But in that run, there was another great fighter, and that was Daniel Cormier. And Cormier was a hell of a fighter, but we never appreciated Cormier's greatness because he was fighting in the same time that John Jones was having this amazing run. And that's how I kind of feel with Ichiban. I mean, I hate to say it like that.
I mean, it's
John
not
Jones is
wrong.
Dax is John Jones and Ichiban is Daniel Cormier. That's just what it is. Sometimes we don't appreciate these dogs for what they are. Sometimes you can have a badass dog, but listen, I'm sure. For example, Top Gun, I know for certain he has some badass litter mates. But Top Gun is Top Gun.
It's tough.
You know, and you get what I'm saying?
Come on.
Like there's one breeding that you can easily say went crazy, where they all globally like became really, really amazing dogs. The Adios to Butterscotch breeding that produced Stacks, Zion, what was the fucking other dog that was in there? It's another well-known dog. Oh fuck! I forgot.
I know, right?
Anyway,
You wrote this down, didn't you?
No, not this one. Not this one. I'm just going off the top with this one. I'm
course
still on
not.
number two. But when you look at those type of breedings and understanding that you have these dogs, like that's one of the few where those dogs, those studs, they actually have their own name where it's equal. They're each getting their respect. It doesn't always work like that, you know? There's a bunch of dogs that don't get the proper respect or love that they deserve. Look at that boy.
You missed it. He was literally just sprawled out. He's such an ass.
So the next dog would be for me, Legend. Legend is a badass dog, man. Y'all know, obviously my list is gonna you're gonna know where it's gonna go. I love the Gotti traits, you know. I'm not gonna shy away from it. I will tell you this. I love Titanium Tank. Titanium Tank is one of my favorite 5, and I love the one drop. I would say this too. If this is top 5, I'm going with studs. But I tell you, the female that I love She Devil.
I love it.
She Devil.
I love that.
She Devil was for me when I saw her, because obviously when I got in there, obviously I'm later, but seeing the videos of her, I'm like, damn, this is a badass female. Yeah, like she was badass. And when you think about one drop and you think about the litter that produced him, I think it was Conan to She Devil, and I loved one drop. I am grateful though that I have those dogs behind my dog's pedigree, because those dogs are just they're incredible, man. But I would say this, right, because I gave you 5. I had to write down the honorable mentions, because it's just like dogs that I wish I could put in here. These are dogs that I really like that I just wanted to give them a shout out. Kanye West, badass dog, loved Kanye West. Monsters Jojola, loved Jojola, badass dog. Obviously 21 Blackjack, I gotta have him in there just because the dogs that I love. Nitro, badass dog. Michaelin's Nitro, because I like that Michaelin juice. Now, if I have to go modern, like I would say, well, this dog hasn't passed away. One of them did. Lester, Muscle Tones Lester, is a dog that I loved. Like the neck, the muzzle, the headpiece, man. Lester was just like a really complete dog. Like for me, when I look at Lester, right, I would be 100% okay with creating an XL version of that. If I could get an XL Samson, that's even better. But if I could consistently create a dog like Lester, man, I'd be so happy. Like I look at a program that produces amazing dogs. SBK. SBK is located in South America. They had Grand Champion Art. They have One Hero, Rock. They have some badass dogs in their camp right now. A lot of badass studs too. And I look at the consistency, because the way I look at a program is look at the consistency.
Yeah.
Do you got the trace? Do you have the confirmation? And when I look at some of these dogs that SBK has produced and what they have, it's like, damn, bro, if I could create something like that for the XLs, I'd be so happy. I'll tell you this, I'm wearing their shirt right now. Triple Shot Bullies, man, that breeding with their girl, I forget her name. I want to say it was Dahlia Bred to Blue. I believe that was her name, but don't quote me. So like I said, I'm going off the top. Man, just to see, can you imagine? Like, and I would say like that is the epitome for any breeder that's breeding the American Bully. You have 4 grand champions in one breeding. You have them competing in the ring together. Ragnar,
You're
Cerebrus, Hangman, national
Cerberus,
winner.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you're literally
and
your own champion class. Yeah.
you know what I mean. And that's just one litter. And I would say this like for me, like yo, that is the goal. You get like you know how many breedings can you say you got 3 or 4 grand champs in it? You know, like Samson had Madden. You know, grand champion Madden's a badass dog. You know, but this one produced 4. It was 3 or 4. I think it's 4. It's Cerebus. I
It's
forget
three
the name of the other
three
one.
males, one female.
It's 3. It's 3
Three males,
males, 1
one
female that are
female.
fucking
That
badass.
litter was
And
sick. Like
yeah,
they have out
and it's like
records.
you look at them. It's like yeah. And you know what? You know, I asked you a question, you guys, this because I was gonna give my opinion on this. There's a lot of people that maybe are not a fan of Grand Champion Hangman, National Winner Grand Champion Hangman. People call him a classic, and I would say this: I wanted to get your opinions on. Do you believe that Hangman is a classic? Because for me personally, I don't believe that.
Me neither.
When I
Here,
when when I when I
Mm.
when I think of the name of classic, right? This is just for example. When I think of classic, I'm thinking of older dogs. So like I will be thinking of like kind of like a Samurai Paco type of build for
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Like a little Cairo. When I think of
Yeah.
classic, I am thinking leaner. Now I get it. We talk about breed development.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. I get it. That's the pitching point for everyone else. However, if you were to compare the standards from back then and stack them with Hangman today,
Yeah, the standards of
it would
yesteryear are
yeah
classic. Yes.
yes. My thing is you cannot call Hangman a classic because he doesn't exhibit the overdone bully traits that we see on some of these pockets.
there we go.
And I would say this, right? I think one of the worst things I'm gonna say was one of the things that ABKC probably shouldn't have done was take out that extreme class. Because what they did was they try to push that on the standards. And the thing is, right?
Yeah, it was a
And
concept car.
and the thing is, right, when you look at it through that lens, how can you sit here and tell me when I think of overdone done correctly, I know I keep talking about him, but I'm always going to refer back to Samson. Yeah. If you're telling me that Samson, if you're telling me that that's extreme and that's what we're pushing as far as bone, but you want to incorporate some of these next level stuff, then how come you don't have more Samsons walking around? It's not. Samson is a one of one type of dog. Mm-hmm. That is God's blessing upon that camp. It's very difficult to pull those type of dogs. So when you're trying to breed for that type of vision for the standard, that wasn't what the standard was supposed to be. The standard, obviously, we have to push the I get the whole pushing the extremities without going over the edge, and I completely I 100% get it. But to say a Hangman is a classic is wild, because this dog, if you have seen him, he has muscle everywhere. I think he has muscle on top of his toes. It doesn't make no sense how much muscle this dog has.
The dog is putting hands on that dog was amazing. Now, I will say this. When you, and the best way to actually kind of put this into a perspective where you can actually visualize it, you have the 3 dogs that were in nationals, that final run, the final 3.
Yes.
Blue,
yes.
his son Hangman, and then Zeus, right?
Yes.
Zeus is pure standard. Like that dog, if you put him to the breed standard, I mean, I can't say enough about it. I love me some Zeus. Now, Hangman, gorgeous animal. He is on the leaner side in comparison. It's all relative. That's the thing. A lot of
Yes.
people aren't looking at it like that. They think that
Yes.
classic, naming Hangman a classic, is an insult, or like slinging mud. But here's the deal: the classic class needs to start heading that way anyways. They need to start
Well, this is true.
bridging that gap. The only reason
Yes.
the classic class needs to exist now is to clean up the messes that people make chasing extreme. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Eventually, how are we going to slowly kind of fade out the classic class? By not needing it. So we've
Yeah.
got to start breeding better so that the classics aren't necessary to clean up messes. Now,
Got
Hangman,
you.
even if you wanted to make the argument that he was more classic than he was standard, then thank God, bridging the gap. Look at us go.
Yeah.
So, was he a little bit leaner than Zeus? Yeah. Did he have that nice lean? He had a tuck. He had a slight tuck. Honestly,
Yeah.
I kind of dig that. But I'm
Yeah.
also a high function, like I want functional dogs. I'm an all breed fan. So
Yeah.
for me, Hangman exhibits that. He exudes it. It's a
Oh
beautiful
yeah.
thing.
Hell yeah, he
So
does.
honestly,
Hell yeah, he does.
I mean, if people think that saying, "Oh, he's more classic than he is standard," is an insult, it ain't. As a matter of fact, that's the
Yeah.
direction we should be going. If that's
Yes.
if that's how you want to say it, because there's a reason
Yes.
he was the Nationals winner, is because
Yeah.
he's a badass dog, and if that's the clean standard we need to aim for, if that's what the ultimate goal of the classic is to become, then we've made it,
Yeah. That would be perfect.
right?
That'd be perfect. You know, Hangman, right? I say this about him. Well, I saw him in January. Um, I was at the Peace Love Bully Fest and in Allentown, and I had the opportunity to film him. And when I saw him in person, the way that this boy can move, it is so dang fluid. It's probably one of the most complete American bullies that I have ever seen. I go on to say that I feel like if AKC was to ever recognize the American bully breed, that the cookie cutter image for them would be Hangman. I've always said that, from the way his head is, his bone, his conformation. He exhibits all of the traits of the breed, but he can move so
There we
well.
go. There we go.
It's full extension on the gate, and he moves so effortless. The compact back shows. There's no high rear in the movement. It's just, he's a complete dog, And I was blessed. I'm not gonna lie, I was blessed that day because I was able to see him and I was able to see Ragnar literally simultaneously. I literally filmed Hangman and then I filmed Ragnar, because they had 3 shows going on. So I did show 1, saw him, and then they had show 2 up and running with Champion Class. So it's like the way it transitioned. It just went from, no, was he a champion? No, I think he was just showing. He had just started his journey. So the way it just turned out was like I've recorded him and then I saw him, and you see the differences, but you see what makes them equally as badass in their own right.
Yeah.
But when I had the opportunity to see him,
You know what you're looking at. I saw Cerberus just I want to say the weekend before last.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I had actually seen Cerberus in person, the third brother. And damn. And I knew exactly what I was looking at. I was like, is that Cerberus? Oh my God. It's that litter was wow.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a badass dog. Listen, there was a dog there that I also saw that was crazy at the Peace Love Bully Fest. His name is he's Grand Champion Mac. I think he's owned by I forget his last name, but I think it's Brad McSomething. Man, I'm filming, right? And he's in Champion Class, and my thing is, when I look at dogs, like I said, I'm not a judge, but I kind of know what I'm looking at. And man, I seen this dog, and I was like, this MFer is nice. And I'm looking at him like, just so much muscle mass, tight skin, that smash muscle, that brolic headpiece. I'm like, yo, this dog is nice. And I had no idea that it was Matt. And obviously, this is before You know, like I think he had a show previously, did well,
Mhm.
but you know, I didn't see him before. Like
There were so many things that
I
probably
got
happened
there.
and you didn't even really take notice. Yeah.
Yes, I get there, right, and the things are way different now. Not way different, but a little bit different for me. Like a lot of people show me more love now when I go to the
Yeah.
shows. So sometimes like I'll be there with my gear, and then someone will be, hey, can you do a video for me? I'll pay you. And then I have that, and then I got my wife and my son there. My son's running around. And then I got someone that wants me to create for these dogs. And then I got people that are like, yo, we're so appreciative for what you do.
Yeah.
Some people that want to take pictures with me,
That's what's up.
it's amazing. And I'm just so grateful and humble. But when I'm in that moment, it's really hard for me to enjoy the
Yeah.
dogs because I am going in every
Mhm.
direction. And, you know, I'm filming the class. I finally had time to just do me. And I look at the class and I'm like, damn, this dog is nice. Had no idea it was Mac. And listen, man, I even go as far as to say I don't know how they marketing him right now, but I would say that if he's showing in nationals, I think that boy got a really good shot to win top dog. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That boy is
Hey,
tough. He is tough. Confirmation, mass, that boy is tough. You know, and I actually that goes to talking about my favorite pockets. There you go. That's one of them. I'm not going to disclose the rest, but Mac is a badass dog. You know,
yes. Hey, real quick, you didn't answer the second part of that question. Top 5 studs living.
living. Here we go. Samson, Hangman. These are just my favorites. Mac, one, from SBK. He's a badass. So that's another one. I'm telling you. I don't know how familiar you are with SBK's one. That mofo in South America he is fire. You know, I told people like, and I think it's really dope that my platform reached down there. Like
Yes.
I'll disclose to people like we've been trying to set up an actual collaborative video between my camp and SBK because one of the members of SBK actually lives up by my way. And they loved the work that I did talking about Art because Art was a phenomenal dog. Like I love Grand Champion Art. And when they started hearing me talk about it, they were like, yo, like Carlos would love to chop it up with you. Like they love what you do. And man, so I've been following them. And man, they started showing one and I'm like, this dog is crazy. And you know, like I'm like, damn, this dog is badass. And I'm like, for me personally, I'm like, damn, I wish I could produce something like that one day. Like, I mean, what that would be nice. Let me get something like that. You know, I ain't asking for a lot. I just need a couple. You know, son, I just need a couple. I don't need a lot. I just need a couple. You know,
Yeah.
if I have a little afraid, let me get like 3 or 4.
Well,
You know,
and so there's actually a picture out there of they actually title it 0 and 1, and it's,
oh,
yeah,
that's tough.
right. So
Yeah.
you got Hannah, with 0, and what is that? Hannah's name? He's always dressed to he's suited and booted every single time. Very serious, very Latin, very. Or he's
Carlos?
got that demure. Anyways, can't miss him. Can't miss him. Every time you see him, like, oh, there he is. There's that guy. But he has 1, and they're like, and it's such a it's an interesting photo because they're like, yeah, both very very muscled up bulls, and both very
Yeah.
worthy of being in that ring in that picture together. So, but yeah,
I-
0 and 1.
Absolutely. And so the last one would definitely be Zeus. I'll tell you this, man. When I found out Tyshawn was selling Zeus overseas, I was like,
Yeah, to the Philippines. You're like,
oh, because Zeus is badass.
bad, bad.
Badass dog, man. I still say that we were blessed, and the community last year, I don't believe that they actually understood the magnitude of what happened in ABKC Nationals
Ooh, we do.
in 2023. Unless you were in the building that day and
Electric.
you experienced
Mm-hmm.
history. That was probably I would even say it's a stretch to say that was probably the greatest moment in ABKC
Yeah.
history.
Gosh.
When you had Blue, his son, Hangman, and you
Yeah.
had Zeus. These were three of probably the greatest
Ever.
American bullies that ever
To
in the
do
ring
it.
at
Yeah.
one time. In the same moment, Blue solidified himself as not even one of the best dogs ever, but one of the best producers ever. How do you have an opportunity, a moment when you're in the ring with your
Yeah.
son
Man, you're getting
and
next to your son for
getting next
nationals,
to your
and you're a
son?
national winner
At
already.
this point, like you want to be
Oh
happy that they
my
beat
God.
you, but you're still like,
Yeah, like
damn,
it's
I wanted to win. But at the same time, it's like I got beat by my own production.
yeah,
Free
but
marketing. Let's go.
and I think like you
Solidified his
go
legacy.
did 3 years in a row, national winner, top 5 in the national running the year prior, top 3 with his son
Man.
last year. I don't think people understand the magnitude. Like, well, unless you were there, like people, like I think take it for granted what that moment really was. That is the epitome of American bully. When you talk about definition of American bully, that moment, those 3 bulls in the ring, that was the definition
Yeah,
of
I
the
was
American bully. When you're talking about the
pure.
the breed type, the conformation, the movement, these dogs exhibit all the traits, and that's when I always tell people, man, like that moment, like I was just so happy. I really wish I was there for nationals last year. I couldn't make it because I had to go
You missed a
to
good one.
a friend of
Yeah,
mine,
AJ, we're gonna
his
rub it in.
destination
All three
wedding.
of us were there. We were ringside. My
Dang it.
car almost got towed because they were towing vehicles. I said, "I'm not moving, man." That was the most
They
Oh
can
Yeah,
tell
iconic
it.
man.
They
moment
can tell it.
It
ever.
was awesome, man.
Oh,
man.
Oh
oh
yeah,
my
Yo,
yeah.
the energy through the live was
God.
crazy.
Right, and like
Cheer,
being there, and everyone was
Yeah.
like on 10. It
yeah,
was so tight in that room. Like no one was breathing, but everybody was screaming. And it was just one of those things. It's
Yeah.
like, again, you never know until you're actually physically there. And like, I can't even imagine like we talked to Tone, who was handling Zeus in the ring, and he can't even like he was having a hard time putting it into words, like the feeling of it all.
man.
And Devin, like she was completely on cloud nine for like weeks after that because it was just one of those things that like in that moment everything was just so definitive, and that
Yeah,
point,
that
like where do you go from there,
We're talking about LeBron and man MJ, like going neck and neck, like.
Yeah,
that
But just the
that
dogs, the handlers, in the moment, like that's how it felt.
Yeah.
As a dog lover, as just
yeah,
a dog show, like that's how it felt, and that's what it came. And Tone, like we talked to him, like man, like you don't ever hold your head down. Like that was amazing.
yeah.
Thank you for
yeah,
that
That was
moment.
severely
yeah,
Lord,
intense. And then being able to
that
talk
Devin
to
did her
Tyshawn
thing,
about it
but Tone
too.
did his thing too. Like both of them, all three of them. All
Those
three
were
of them,
yeah,
just the
some of the best
judgment and just
handlers
how
to
that,
do. Yeah,
ooh,
yeah,
that was amazing.
that
Yeah.
was
yeah.
that was literally when you talk about this much. That was what it
That was it.
Yeah.
was. Like like it was just this much, and I'll say this to see those dogs, man. You have no idea how happy that makes me, man. Because being that I advocate for the breed the way I do, um, it just makes me so happy to see like when you're able to see such amazing examples of the breed be able to do some great things. It's amazing, man. Just to see these dogs, to see the them exhibit those traits, and it definitely puts things into perspective for people that may not know about the American bully, that maybe just call it a Jack
Yeah,
Pitbull. That when you see this, it's undeniably American
yeah.
bully, and
Right.
I think that was just so badass. Like I said, if I didn't have that destination wedding to go to, I would have been in the building. But man, I'll just say this, man. Just
I'm
to
getting
see that
goosebumps
was
just like
just
that.
Uh-huh.
yeah. That was crazy, man. And
Jay, we were front row, man. We were front row. I literally saw all three of them come straight at us. I was
Yep.
right behind Mary and
On
Kai
that
was taking
last
pictures.
down
Mary
and
was,
back down. Oh,
yo, that's
last down and
crazy,
back.
yo.
oh my
That's crazy.
gosh.
You know what's crazy, right? Is I told Caleb this, right, in our conversation last week. We were talking about some of the people that felt some kind of way because obviously, you know, I've told people that I advocate for the XL American Bully, right? Obviously, that's the class that I desire to try and create the dog that I'm looking to do.
Yeah.
My ideology behind it is that if we can create a dog that has the traits of like a pocket and standard, but has longer limbs, we don't compromise functionality.
Right.
And that has been what I have been chasing because I've seen it done. And I've seen that, hey, if you do it the right way, you can get it. It's just going to take a lot of time. And I used to tell people that listen, the baddest dog in any show you go to would be an XL when it is done the right way. When I mean the right way, I'm talking about the traits, the mass, the confirmation. Because obviously they're going to be the biggest dogs when they go into the ring. When you see them, they're going to be like, holy smokes. But let's say, for example, you saw a dog, XL, that was 20 and a half inches at the withers with a 30-inch head, smashed muzzle, carried a lot of juice like Samson. You'd be damned to tell me that dog is not one of the most wild factor dogs in the building that day.
Sense out this world. Oh, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and the reason why I say that is because, you know, people used to tell me, man, you have no idea. We're talking about the XLs. You don't know nothing. Like, there's no way it'll never be on track. And I'm like this. You know what, man? You will see
All this
one day
negativity.
as it's gonna happen. I said you're gonna see, and it makes me so happy that the class has really transitioned. There's a lot more breeders breeding for it now.
Mhm.
And I think that's great because now there are more options for people to use for dogs to collaborate. And now you have the opportunity to do with the XL class, to do with it what should have been done years ago
Yeah.
with what the pockets and what the standards did, which was build off of one dog, strategically breed to set the classes to go transcend the way that they have.
Absolutely.
And I think that, man, for the XL, that makes me so happy to see the transition and everything, man. Crazy. It's crazy how everything comes to fruition. It's just crazy.
But hey,
You manifest it and it comes to
hey,
fruition.
Ichiban and Dax, the shadowed brother. Look what we've done there, man. Yoko is the son of Ichiban. Like, you're exactly right. That's
Yes, sir.
it all.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Listen, everybody built with Dax, but completely forgot that there was a little mate that XLs could have built with, and that was
Antonio
Ichiban.
McClenny took it a different direction.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Made magic. Shout out.
And
Man.
McClenny, Antonio had a lot of XLs with type. You know, and it's crazy that I'll say this is that people, when you have this type of opportunity with these dogs, these bloods, and you have this type of you have a decision you got to make. You either go forward and you build off of this, and then you create something special, or you pivot and you chase other things. And I think the reason why the XL class is the way it is because we have a completely different set of phenotypes per dog. You know, that's not a knock. That's the truth.
There's
you know, there's some dogs that are leaner in frame now, show more of the Connie Corso type of look. Then you have dogs that are extremely overdone, that are heavy and fat, not muscle fat. There's a difference. Don't get. I don't want people to get it twisted. I'm not hating. These are true. This is the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. A dog that is heavier does not mean that it has more mass. It does not mean that. I need people to understand that mass and muscle is all genetic based. Yes, we can. It's our job to give the dogs the exercise to be able to build that muscle. But in the same token, you're not going to be able to add more mass than what's genetically possible for the dogs. Like, I'll break it down like this. Yes, weight people talk about that, and that's the thing with the XL class. People want to talk about 180, 200, fine, whatever the case is. At the end of the day, if you look at anything that comes off of muscle tone, I know I'm getting neck, bone, crazy mass, everything, and the dog is only eating what it's supposed to do. That it's supposed to eat. It's not eating more or less. I know the genetics are going to take over.
There we go.
Whereas with some people, I think in the XL class, I think that's part of the reason why I got the flack that I did, was that I was just being honest. More weight does not mean more breed type. Like more weight does not mean that my dog is going to have crazy mass. More weight does not mean that my dog is going to have. When I mean by mass, that's not fat. That's muscle.
Muscle
That does
mass.
not mean that. You could feed an American Pit Bull Terrier, for example, as much as you want. It's the traits are not going to change. It's just going to get fat. That's what happens with a lot of these dogs in the XL class. So I think when I was saying from in the where the avenue I was coming from for people was that people might have thought that I was being a little bit too direct about it. But the thing is how can I help the class steer in the right direction if I'm not honest about it? You know, and the reason why
the weight's proportion different. So
yes,
how does the dog look?
Yes. And that goes back to what I said before, going back to the decision. The XLs had the opportunity to make the decision and build the way pockets and standards did.
Right.
Instead, they chased the weight and went for the bigger, heavier dogs. That is why the class is all over the place.
Yep.
And that's why for a long time it was just looking crazy. But you had some people that were able to preserve the older stuff.
Right.
And given the fact that they were able to do it, once the newer wave of people that wanted to get pulled the XL closer towards the standard, now people started bringing it back. So it's lovely because now you're getting that direction that we should have had maybe 10 years ago. If the XL class would have built with Ichiban the way that the pocket standards built with Dax, I think the XL would be much more consistent today than it is now. Now, obviously, we're doing much better now.
Yeah.
But however, there was a chance where the XL class could have been on the same trajectory as the other classes, and it is the one that's the most controversial because that was the one that, you know, unfortunately the Masters I can be honest, papers were hung. They brought in the Masters. That's how they were able to get these dogs that are huge, that weigh like 180, 190. I'm not saying nothing that's not known, that this is just physiology. Look at the dogs.
Right.
Look at the breeds that if you look at the breeds, they exhibit traits of other breeds that look exactly like what you're seeing. So when you look at that and you have those excess wrinkles, you see those droop. I mean, come on, man. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm gonna be honest. And
no real
my
straight
ideology,
stifles. I mean, come on now.
you know, and I'm gonna be honest. The reality is that this is why I got a lot of stuff. You can't. It's going back to the same concept I said before. You cannot line breed Amstaff to Amstaff and pull Bulldog traits.
Not gonna happen.
Just like if you try to pair and line breed Mastiff to Mastiff, you're not gonna pull Bulldog traits. And when I said that, people got triggered. And like I said, it wasn't meant in a way to be disrespectful to anybody. It was just me pointing out why the class was so inconsistent compared to the other classes, and that's just the truth. You know, it's that. And in a nutshell, that's basically how everything transpired, and that's how everything went. But man, just to see the improvements and everything just happening for the class, man, it just feels like it's one step after another. And I'm looking at how many programs now really getting it right, and it, man, it just makes me so happy, man. Because, like I said, I was advocating for the class for the last 3.5, going on 4 years. So now to see it come to fruition, man, it's amazing, man. It's amazing,
man. Keep doing your thing, man, and keep using your platform and keep growing it. And I hope this helps it because, man, I've loved this. I've absolutely loved this live, and I know that, man, in the comments, a lot of other people have loved it too.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate you guys. You know, like I said, just thank you for you guys just give me the opportunity to be on the platform to be able to talk with you, to talk about dogs. You know, I'm very passionate about this breed. I don't have to say nothing that you guys already know. And everybody has heard me talk about it for like this whole duration of time. But I really mean that, man. I'm just so grateful just to have the opportunity to talk dogs. But I also love having the opportunity to grow and network with other people and just to be able to push this breed forward and to collab more with people. Like I told Caleb, we spoke about he may be going to the Beast of the East show. I'm trying to make it a thing to go there. And I really want to get a booth to collaborate with people.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. So the thing is like this, like these lives lead to other things. There's a rapport that's being built, and it's like
Hey,
so when you do it, it's genuine, you know.
just ask me, man. If you want to share a booth, just ask me. Just ask me.
You know,
We can
yeah,
share a
man.
booth, man. We can share a booth.
Yeah, listen, that'd be very helpful. That'd be very helpful. I gotta get a babysitter for my son that day so he don't run around while I'm trying to create, bro.
No, hey,
Yeah.
just joking, but man, but hey, but you're speaking some truth, and I love it, and just bringing humor to it, man. And Leroy just said that, hey, you got a new follower, and man,
I appreciate it,
I've
man.
never
Thank you.
I've never seen my wife so active in the comments. So we're gonna have a talk tonight,
Yeah.
see what's going on, man.
Yeah. I will tell you this. I'm gonna try and save this live. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try.
There we go.
I'm gonna try and save this bad boy, and I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna put like some text on it, and I'm gonna put this on my channel. What I'm gonna do is from this live, I'm gonna chop it up into shorts.
Yeah.
Put captions and stuff, and I'm gonna tag everybody.
Yeah.
So that's for me. It works out hand in hand because we get to talk, but people now get to see this avenue, and now this is something where like, yo, I would love to chop it up with them, and you see like it goes hand in hand, and it's, man, you see, I love doing this.
No, you can easily like upload or download the video straight to your computer, or I'm in the process right now of uploading all of our lives, both previous and current, to our YouTube channel. There's a Tuesday Night Bully Talk YouTube channel now.
That's awesome.
So
Congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that way you can access the video that way too if you need to.
Yes. Hey, real quick.
That's
hey,
awesome.
Leroy, I love it. He's talking about, I'm new, learning, guys. Man, viewing in, talking about he's got a new follower. Just want to shout him out. Hey, Leroy. Good night, man. Same time.
Leroy's the name of the dog. It's the owner's a female.
Oh yeah. All right. I was just saying. All right, Leroy. All right. But anyways.
Hey.
Hey, follow
shout out to Leroy.
She's awesome though. She's awesome. She did it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Caleb. I've done it all the time. Listen. I've made a mistake where I said this happened actually in my favorite XLs part 2. I made a mistake. I was talking about Bossy's Tarzan in the video, right? And I said the name of Axel's mother, not Tarzan's mother. But because, like I said, I was going off the top, it happens. You know, it happens. It happens. When I ran it back, obviously I made the fix and I put it in text.
Right.
Hey, this is the real thing, but it happens. It happens. Listen, we're human. We are not perfect, but we all make mistakes. So it is what it is, man. You know. But I'm just so grateful that once again that you guys gave me the opportunity to talk. I really mean that, and I cannot wait to see the growth of your YouTube channel. This is big time. This is big news. This is great news for you guys because this is another platform that can be really used to push the breed forward as well. And for you all to be here and to be able to do this is great because these are the type of things that the American bully community needs. You know, when I did a live with Alex of San Andreas Bullies not too long ago, I want to say it was a couple months ago, and I remember I had some people reach out to me and they were like, "This, yo, man, this type of content is like, this is awesome. This is what a lot of people want to hear." And obviously, I haven't been able to do a lot of live streams. Part of the reason for that is just because I have a lot going on right now. My weekends are absolutely hectic. Saturdays and Sundays were my creative days. Those are the days I will go out, film, get what I needed to get done, and then start the editing process over the week.
Yep.
And my weekends have just been so jam-packed, time-consuming that I'm literally getting up at 7 and I am not getting home till 11, and everything that I'm doing is family-based. And I really, just given the set of circumstances that I have right now, I don't have the flexibility to just create. Like before I used to have that flexibility. I don't. And what that sucks because I wanted to do the Behind the Breeding podcast and all these other things and live feeds with people, but it's so difficult when I have to be somewhere in New York and I got to be there all day. I got a kid, I got my wife. I can't be on live, and then I feel bad because I'm like I cannot do a live and not be fully
I
committed
haven't
to it.
mastered
And,
omnipresence.
and that's for me, man. It to see that there's another platform that's now you guys are on YouTube. Any help that I could give to you guys, like as far as tips, anything that could help with the YouTube channel,
We'll
let
take
me
it.
know. I would tell you the biggest thing is attack those shorts, grow that platform, attack those shorts, throw some captions in the thing, and just let the algorithm do the work. And it'll take you wherever it is that you need to go, and just stay committed. The fact that you do this every Tuesday, this is phenomenal. This is what the community needs. This type of content is what the community needs, and I'm happy that it's going this direction, with some good people.
We're definitely trying. I appreciate that, sir. I really do.
You're
But,
welcome. You're welcome.
AJ,
You're
it's
welcome.
been amazing, my man. I'm gonna call you.
Oh
It's
yeah,
it's
had fun.
it's been a ride. I'm so grateful that first that you guys allowed me to speak about my journey, everything. You gave me a platform just to really speak. Like I said, I talk a lot, but it's definitely all in good fun because anything I could do to help people, that's what matters. And yeah, we didn't get a chance to speak about sports. I'm telling you, I think if I had something with sports, I think it'd be pretty good too. Because I had some really hot takes that are
oh
most of the
no.
times they're on the money, but
Oh no.
yeah, it's dope. I was talking with Caleb before this, the live, and he was telling me his teams. He's a Longhorns fan. I see my man's got the Alabama shirt on. It's that time of the year.
Oh yeah, yeah.
College football is back, baby.
Oh yeah.
NFL is back. So I cannot wait for this upcoming season. And who knows, one day, if everything turns out the way it does, I might actually have a spinoff where it's just like lives and I just talk about sports, my favorite
There you go.
sports. So
There you go.
and talk about teams. So there's a very
That
realistic
could
chance
segue
that
into
could
it.
happen.
Perfect.
That could happen once everything else falls into place. But until then, until then, I have to stay focused on the doors. This is the avenue that I'm working on. And when you're creating, you can't do 2 and 2. You have to stick and stay focused on one. And that's so the dogs is it for right now. But if we get some time where everything is more settled and I'm able to hire a videographer and an editor, I'm absolutely doing the sports channel, and it'll be dope. It'd be dope. It'd be real dope.
Love it.
But thank you guys so much. Have a great night.
Right.
I don't even know what time it is right
I
now.
don't either. I stopped looking.
11:30. Damn. So yeah, my son is sleeping right now.
He better be.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's
yeah.
gonna
He's
be a
sleeping
rough
right now.
morning.
Yeah, he's sleeping right now. So it's good. He's still quiet. Like, man, the last live I did, man, he would start crying. So I had to go in the garage to do it. So he came out, he was cool, but I guess because he didn't nap today,
Yeah.
he was like hello. But usually when he came up to me, he wanted to play with me. Usually that's his way of like he wants to lay on me to go to bed.
Yeah.
Because he likes to go to bed on me. Because I'm the one
Yeah, you know
puts him
what
to
time
sleep.
it is.
Yeah, so I ain't put 2 and 2 together because I was talking. I'm like, damn, why is it so quiet? Then I'm like, damn, he went to bed like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's dope. So I was able to go full send on this live, and
Loved it, man.
anytime I'm able to do that, it's amazing. Anytime I'm able to do it, it's amazing. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I really mean that.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've
Thank you.
had a lot of fun tonight. So, and I mean, you've really, yeah, you just really provided so much insight and so much positivity, and we really, really liked having you on. And I look forward to all your future content as well as
Real
catching up on some of
quick,
the ones that I've missed so
I
far.
greatly appreciate
cool as
it.
hell. Like right before we get off, John Ronick
I
is
seen.
actually in the comments, so
Mhm.
that's
Yo, John is the man.
Oh,
He's
I
the
know.
truth, man.
Yeah,
I
I have a story with John too.
no,
I'm just like, oh, you're a good man.
I just want
I
we saw that before we get off.
yeah, that's dope, man. I would say this before I get out of here. In my opinion, and this is my opinion, one of the best judges in the ABKC. One of the best,
Mhm.
in my opinion. Very humble, very straightforward, but he's a great guy, man.
Mhm.
Like I said, he's here, so like he
Yeah.
probably doesn't remember the conversation that me and him had, but that one conversation is what changed everything for me. Like
He needed to hear
it's
that.
crazy. That one insight, it just changed the direction of everything. Like now I got all of this.
Mhm.
That's what's up.
It's just crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy,
How
That's what it's
man.
all
individuals are
about,
able
man.
to do that. That's an awesome moment.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
I see someone in the comments said, "Yeah, I just got here. Damn football. Like, hey, listen,
Don't entertain Josh.
Watch it again.
Josh
You can
Dan.
go back,
listen,
Josh, and
listen,
watch it again. You know where to
listen,
find it.
listen.
Don't do
There
it.
was a
Don't do
time.
it.
Listen, there was a time where, because as I think I told Caleb, I'm like a super diehard Rams fan. So it is bad. Like it's bad. I used to do lives where I used to cover the team and speak with people about the Rams. So like going on this Instagram live and these things, like it's like it's like I used to do this a lot prior. So it's not like it's shocking to me to get on in front of this and talk like
Yeah.
but yeah,
Hey, John,
it
amazing
is
comment
dope.
followed by a terrible comment from Josh Stanley. I just want to make sure I saw them both. Josh, damn you.
He's a, he's a needy, that
Um,
pesky Josh character.
Yes, but no, man,
but
hey, that's amazing, man. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to make sure that we shouted those out.
yeah, 1,000%, man. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, I it sounds repetitive, but I really mean that. Like I said, humility and gratitude, that goes a long way. And anytime I'm asked to be on a platform, I'm so grateful for the opportunity, and I think it's amazing that we're able to put on for the breed, right? Push it forward, but to be able to speak about the dogs and just show, like, listen, it's about the love and the passion of the dogs, not the passion of the pockets.
Right.
I know, like I said, breeding there has to be some form of compensation. We don't do this and take on the X amount of costs and expenses it takes for free. Listen, that's just what it is. That's breeding. However, the reality is that, there's people that absolutely love the American Bully, and it's dope when you get to collaborate with people because it doesn't become a thing about pride. It doesn't become a thing about who's better than who. It's not about that. It's just all for love of the American Bully, and that's what's really dope,
Love it.
And thank you guys so much.
Man,
Oh
great.
yeah.
Mark, before there's something, Amanda said, dance monkey, let's get out of here.
Have a good one, you guys.
All right.
Appreciate
Peace.
it. Thank
Thank you
you.
again for coming
Peace.
on
All
with us.
right.
Everybody share,
Gotcha.
share, share.
Gotcha.
Yes. Bye.
Right, guys.